Live like a four-wheel drive, we are back. Shouts to all my constituents of Lush World. It is a Friday evening. We about to tee up with y'all. I got my brother, the big homie, Monstro in the building.
Hey, Wes, what's up, y'all?
You already know, real LA legend. We gonna chop game about the storied and colorful history of his accolades, upbringing, highs and lows. For all y'all that want to make it clear that even though, you know, people saw the CMAC interview and are seeing some of the content, one of the anchors of Lush World is the mental health and recovery talk. So without that, I feel like there is no real platform. It's, you know, it's a cornerstone over here. So I'm definitely eager to have conversations with people that I know that have a high level emotional intelligence in that regard. But
appreciate you, brother. Also
got some cool stuff to talk about as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Regardless, all of y'all, it's a very simple task. What y'all got to do: like, share, subscribe. Man, stomp on that like button. I want more likes than views. Is there a way to do that? Give us more likes than views. Defy the laws of YouTube gravity and physics, and let's really start dissecting it. Before we really get into it, I do have something I want to address. I honestly don't want to address, but
oh shit,
I feel like it's kind of somewhat of a necessity at this point, considering just the amount of people and just talking about it. And I don't really like to. I go to great lengths to make sure that I'm on the right side of history, especially recently. I've learned from a lot of mistakes, and I'm careful with my words, and I'm careful with my actions, particularly in this podcasting space. And I'm not doing things to rock the boat or to, but at the same time, I'm not a fucking victim. You know what I mean? Like, right. And I'm not going to allow people to continue to disrespect me, to be hypocrites, to try to like walk over me.
I don't think you sleep well at night if you was to take half the shit that you know people throw at you and shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, keep it about yourself.
So at a certain point, like nah, it's not. I gotta speak up, especially when it's on platforms that I respect and consider allies. Earlier today on the Back on Fig platform, CMAC was responding to my Crip Mac interview and had some statements about he didn't feel like it was fair that he was being used for content and that I was stepping into street shit and purposely setting someone up for disrespect. Now, how anybody could glean that if they actually watch the content is beyond me. Because literally the only thing I did in the context, the only time that T-Rail and CMAC were brought up was when I was literally talking about how I was catching Crip Mac up to speed about what's going on with No Jumper. And it was in reference to how come you didn't go straight to the No Jumper platform.
So you were talking about a group of people and they just so happened to be in the mix of the people that
yes, because what I said is the direct quote was, and it's a paraphrase, but it's damn near a direct quote. I was like, AD, it left, a lot of things have changed in No Jumper. AD left, and he's got his own platform called Community, and he said, shout out to AD. And I said, they clicked up. He said he clicked up with CMAC and T-Rail. And before I could even mention Fig Community World, because what I was about to do is state the fact that Fig Community World is actually gaining more traction than No Jumper.
Flowers.
Yeah. You could call it flowers, but I'm not even going to go that far. I was just letting him know what was going on. Like, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The podcast is doing well. It's putting numbers on the board. There's been a big paradigm shift. For people that aren't tuned into the podcast space, they hear the name No Jumper, you'll be like, yeah, No Jumper is where it's at. But anybody that's really been paying attention the past few months, you'd be like, damn. And if you went into a coma in February and someone would have told you that House Phone, T-Rail, AD, all these people that were the pillars of that platform are no longer there, they'd be like, it'd be a shock. You know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, what? Like, oh, fucking LeBron's not on the Lakers anymore?
Yeah.
So I'm literally trying to explain to this guy what it was. I wasn't like, yo, so you know that AD's clicked up with the Hoovers. Right. He's over there with your ops.
The premise of the conversation was general updating.
General updating.
What all that entails.
And I didn't say, how do you feel about T-Rail? How do you feel about... And I think T-Rail took it right, because he was alluding to the fact, like, hey, like, I don't have a problem with Lush. Like, he's not welcomed back on Big anymore. He's like trying to say that. But the other people in the background are kind of chiming in, trying to incense the moment.
Yeah, that's when wires get crossed.
But the reality is, they had no, like, there's no recourse, because I don't think that they actually watched it. I think people just said, this is what you did. And if you did, you watched like a 10-second clip. Yeah. But that's literally all it was. And CMAC didn't even disrespect them. He was just like, I'm not fucking with them. He didn't call them out their name. He didn't diss their hoods or anything like that.
Right.
So, like, but just let's take it a step further. Something that really doesn't make sense to me. Lush, we don't want to be used for content. Okay. But it's okay to use me for content? Any single thing that happened to me, whether it's dissecting any potential inconsistency in my past, that could be used as content. That could be laughed at. Embarrassing moments of mine, let's put it on blast. Let's take the whole Alki David thing and do content on that. Let's look up lawsuit transcripts and do content on that. Let's, you know what I mean? Like, let's do all this shit and bring it to light, laugh about it. Lush gets fired. That's the title of an episode. Let's dissect. And you know what? I understand. It's the content game. I'm not complaining about it, but I'm not allowed to even
say a name.
Mention your name in the presence of somebody that they're static with. And look, I understand the ramifications are a bit more severe when you're talking about gang shit and beefs, but you know, we're talking about people that are that have transcended that and are successful in the podcasting space. Some of the most prominent figures. If you really want to look at it, I look at like T-Rail and Smack and them, some of the most prominent figures in LA media. Because like, how do people consume media nowadays? How do people consume media nowadays? Podcasts. More people are watching podcasts to get updated about things than they are. Blogs are dead. Who the fuck goes to, you know what I mean? Like, even Hip Hop DX, most of their content's on YouTube. Yeah,
fools are tapped into podcasts, like straight syndications and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
People are going to podcasts. So what I wasn't doing was causing trouble. Anytime a beef with gangs he mentioned, I was like, oh, okay, next subject. Or, you know, when he was like, I'm making the enemy's moms cry. I was like, I don't think it's cool to make moms cry. I understand that's part of the lifestyle.
I caught that too. I was like, that was a bit much.
Yeah, like, and in fact, you know, when he was talking about cripping, and I was like, let's lean into the historical aspects, the positive aspects of cripping. You know, how this came from a hybrid from the Black Panther organization. Exactly. You know, Community Revolutionaries in Progress. Yeah. And then Crip Mac like gave his, well, actually it stands for killing all customers or whatever he said. You know what I mean? Like, and like, okay, like that was to the point where the interview was getting more and more malt liquor induced and just kind of deviating. And I was like, you know, I feel like this has been a great discussion. I'll put that, I feel like I humanized Crip Mac in a way that most people weren't able to do, had a real straightforward dialogue with him, and I feel like it was reaching its logical conclusion. Yeah. I wasn't there to, of course, like, when he's saying funny shit, we're gonna laugh. You know what I mean? Like, like I'm not laughing at gang disses. I'm not laughing at disrespect. And if something was said disrespectful, if he had been like, well, fuck, I'd been like, hey, you know, like, all right, I understand there's a lot then you behind that,
you would have been able to facilitate that.
Yeah, I'd be like, you know, I fuck with bro. I'm cool with bro. It didn't even get to that point, though. It didn't even get to that point. So I just wanted to clear that up, and I think it's just the inconsistencies, the hypocrisy. It's like it's a bit much. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it just shows like how much do people really fuck with me? Like, obviously, they're okay. We like. it's questionable. I think some people do. I think some of them over there do to an extent. Like, you know, like I know that AD is a homie. T-Rail I consider a homie. Smack, I consider them homies. But like when people aren't, this is like the big moment for me thus far in my solo podcast journey with my new endeavor and my new partners. Boom, we getting shit set off. Motherfuckers ain't like, oh, good job, Lush. That was a dope interview. The whole entire internet, 98% of the fans are like, damn, that was a huge W. But people I fuck with aren't hitting me up and saying that. I'm not being like, there's talk of me being invited back to that platform. I would love to go back and fuck with them in their platform. You know, I consider, like I said in the beginning, I consider the community world allies. I consider, you know, Duno, AD, all the punk, they all cool. Like, I ain't got no issues with them. But, like, at the same time, how cool are we? Like, do you all, like, instead of being like, well, damn, Lush, blah, 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 that's all you say about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not like, that was a dope interview. Props to the homie for getting it lit. You know, I wasn't really feeling how, you know, I felt like, you know, like you brought up our name, you know that bro don't fuck with us.
The first response to it was what you did. That's it. Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing said. T-Rail was like low-key giving props to it, I felt like, but his voice was kind of getting obstructed at that moment. And like, look, I know ultimately, like, hey, that's Smack's narrative. He comes in peace. But I feel like I've been used as content on every single one of those platforms several times over. Laughed at, dissected, ridiculed, clowned, called all types of things that have ramifications in my real life. But if I merely bring up a name in a non-disrespectful way, like you said earlier, if anything, it's giving props. It's like, like you, like y'all, these,
that's how I've seen it.
Hey, guess what, Crip Mac? These guys are killing No Jumper right now. They're doing better than No Jumper. AD, T-Rail and them. Oh, I know, like you don't fuck with T-Rail or whatever, but guess what? Like he's actually killing shit right now.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point of like, so.
I mean, them brothers, them over there know how Mac feel about. They already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So for them to kind of come at you about bringing it up, you don't have no control over the brother's response.
And he didn't even say anything crazy. Like, I thought he was going to let me finish the sentence and be like, oh, okay, well, 5 them or 5-5. I thought he was going to, be like, oh, wow, that's crazy that they got their shit popping like that. And maybe be like, well, you know, I don't fuck with T-Rail. He's a custer, like, whatever. But, like, and then if he did that, I would have been like, well, I'm cool with T-Rail. Like, I understand the politics between 5 y'all, whatever. Like,
that was a bit much, man. It's like, don't say our names. Like, I don't know, man.
But literally, all I said, the exact quote was, AD got his own platform called Community, and they clicked up with T-Rail and Smack. That's it. It wasn't like, what do you think about T-Rail and Smack? Would you ever do content with them? Like, I know what the fuck I'm purposely avoiding asking questions like that. You know what I mean? He brought up the fade with Jap 5. Of course I'm going to talk about that, but that's, you know, like, and he was showing respect to Jap 5 and that, I don't know. There's not too much more to dissect. That's how I feel. Period. That's it. No disrespect, but I'm not going to allow people to continue to disrespect me. I was contemplating calling into their platform, but it's like all that would have happened is then they would have continued to control the narrative, been able to laugh about me or make little comments after I hung up, minimize what I'm saying.
It's all about what you respond to, too. You know what I'm saying? If you spotted, you to 9 times out of 10 got in this shit, and if that's showing up on your radar like that to where it make you, you know, feel some type of way, you know, everything, a motherfucker's solid, shit go on around them. They don't go with the flow of the shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just be unmoved by it, man. You know.
Yeah, and honestly, like and Smack's a hilarious dude. I actually really have a lot of love for Smack. It's every single time. The energy's not really, like, I can't give back what's coming my way. Pause. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just at a certain point, I would say it's disappointing, but I understand that. It's like, okay, we're in the content game, but yo, don't use us for content. We could use you for content, but don't use this for content. It's like, it's such an obscure line that don't make sense.
It ain't shit.
And honestly, I'm at the point where I would say I'm exhausted by it, but guess what? I'm here for this shit. I've been fucking doing content for before I knew what the word even fucking meant. And now I'm in this game, and Lush World is, we here. We doing the motherfucking damn thing.
You went and picked the brother up from the Delano and got the interview out and done. You did that.
Yeah.
So any other little shit under that is just, I don't see it taking much shine from, pulling that interview off.
Yeah, I think it's it's unnecessary to. There's really not too much that
it is a little annoying though, like
Yeah, it's at this point. But look, I get it. No love lost on my end, but that's what I have to say about it. If, like T-Rell said, look, here's the thing. I would have been hitting up T-Rell more about getting back on but there's T-Rell got 30 people in his immediate circle that he needs to have places for. You know what I mean? And it's just like me when I'm booking a battle rap event and there's 80 people that I've told I want to book for an event, but I can only book 16 of them because there's only 8 battles on a card.
Yeah.
So, okay, I get it, and I don't want to add to that pressure. If he want to work with me, he want me to do whatever content like we had previously discussed, I'm down for it. It is what it is. You feel me? But I ain't going to press him. We got our own shit cracking.
Everybody happy. Everybody ain't going to be happy all the time. So, you just got to stay driven on your plan of actions and make sure you executing that on the solid. Just stay down for your crown, and everything else will fall where it may. Even if it's feelings, it is what it is and shit.
If you rocking with it, drop the cocaine bot emojis in the chat. Bot Mafia, run up the likes, comment, share, quit playing with us. Don't play with us, make plays with us. Cock that thing, aim and bust. Got your bitch wet like Angel does. And the reason why I got her wet, extra wet, is because she opted that Royalty Honey USA honey pack. So go to royaltyhoneyyusa.com, put in discount code LUSHUNO, that's capital LUSHUNO. It'll make you light as a feather and hit it stiff as a board, knocking it down like never before. And for the ladies, it works for y'all too. It'll turn your pool into
Oasis. Not as good as Rick.
Not as good as Rick. Not as good
Sorry
as
about
Rick.
that. I cleared my throat.
Being that is the sponsor, that's you can get real creative with that brand right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I wish I could remix either the Mariah Carey honey song or the Erykah Badu honey song. Like, there's so many different.
What I'm talking about is as far as the verbiage that speaks to the innuendos.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
Wordplay. Yeah. Real all around the world with that one and shit.
Stro, you're an older gentleman. Have you indulged in a honey pack?
Nah, brother, I haven't felt the need to.
Damn.
Knock on pause. Make me go honey pack up in this motherfucker.
No, I'm telling you, hey, even if you don't need it, you're gonna be like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, I talked to my damn 12-step sponsor. I got the okay for the honey packs.
Right.
I know it could be a potential gray area, but
it is what it is, man.
It is what it is. But I endorse the product. Go get you some. Run it up. We appreciate our sponsors. Now, with all that being said, my brother, Monstroe, legendary from Leimert Park.
Yeah, Leimert Park, Vernon Street, Crenshaw District.
The Fodies.
Yeah.
More affectionately known as the Fodies.
Grew up in the Fodies,
Yeah. And you grew up, safe to say, in the most violent and active era in LA history.
Man, late 80s, grimy 90s, man. It was we survived colors, man. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers that was off the porch, out there in the streets, and you went through that color era, a lot of us didn't make it and shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're a survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And you are an original LA graffiti legend. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, you're a dope artist, rapper, beat maker, do a lot of things, but the graffiti first and foremost.
Okay, yeah, that was my first love. It was a graffiti and shit. You know what I'm saying? I started as a bus mobber though. I
was gonna get to that. Really, I know this is like looked at as a really negative term by people, and like, but I've always embraced it personally. And it's how I came up. Tag banging, like
that term came kind of when I was transitioning into trying to piece, and I wouldn't take it as like a downgrade, but it did kind of get a little like cliche-ish over the years. I think we was before that term tag banging came along.
'Cause to me, like when gangs say tag bangers, they're looking down on you, like, oh, you're just a tag banger, fool. Right. You're not really like, but. Yeah. The way I look at it, growing up, like fools were about their hip hop shit, and were getting up, but they were gangster. Like, y'all fools were whammed up. Like,
I mean, you know, when it's like if you in LA, man, and you off the porch, you gonna fall up under some umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be through your older cousin, big homie, brother, pops, moms, whatever, you gonna be up under some umbrella. You know, so our shit was with the graffiti, but we was mostly about like kind of like tearing up shit,
just bombing,
like raising a ruckus and shit. We used to chill at this spot called the 40 Stop over by Audubon Junior High, just, you know, back in the days and shit. And fools would just be out there seeing who can get up the most and shit, you know. And certain cats was already lightweight claiming a set while doing that, reputable sets too.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. Like a lot of fools that are actually from hoods were also from graffiti crews at a certain time and kind of certain point.
I remember in the 80s, man. Like some of the dopest pop lockers was Crips. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when EPMD album first came out.
Yeah.
Shit, like them fools, hip hop was everywhere.
For sure. I mean, a lot of Crip gangs were dance crews. Like to start, I think like. I think Playboys was one of them. There's a lot of different, like straight Crip sets that started as dancing. A lot of fools from Hoover back in the day were known for that and shit. Like it's part of where like the Groover thing came from. I think like like fools were literally like and pop locking is our version of breaking that.
It's an element of hip hop.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that's the West Coast, like, and then there's the whole Frisco thing too that they be doing, like the variation.
The thing about it is like Kool Herc, who is the godfather of hip hop. You know, he was a graffiti artist first. You know what I'm saying? He was a writer and shit before he started DJing and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it goes back to literally, you know, Soundview, South Bronx shit. But
definitely.
So, tell me about your point of origin, as far as like your childhood upbringing over there in the 40s.
You see,
during the crack era.
I moved on. The same old story, baby boy shit. You know, just me and moms and shit. Pops wasn't around and shit, and. You know, we moved over on 10th Avenue, Vernon, in about 82. And, you know, I grew up over there. And then the step pops came. Like in the movie Baby Boy, he hated his step pops because he was way more hood, way more established. And he had his mom's wrapped around his fingers.
Talking about Melvin?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you'd be pissed off too.
Yeah, little Jody wasn't feeling that.
Yeah.
He was like, nigga, fuck this nigga.
I wouldn't be feeling Melvin in my mama's kitchen either, I ain't gonna lie.
So yeah, but you know, my step-pops came and I grew to be able to respect him, you know, at this point. But, you know, I wasn't feeling that too much, so I kinda like just hung out in the streets a lot and started running with this first crew I was from was called MBT. It's called Nothing But Trouble. You know, I started fucking with them about like 87, 88 at Audubon and shit.
And so you're in like junior high, middle school?
7th grade. Let me see, 6th grade, moms was like, you know, in 6th grade, everybody at my school was like, nigga, we see you at Audubon next year. When we was going to 7th grade, mom's like, no, you ain't going to Audubon. So she sent me to this other school called Oval Right, where I met a lot of.
That's in Westchester, right?
That's in Westchester.
Yeah.
A lot of would-be overhills went there.
My girl I lost my virginity to in middle was at Orville Wright. Yeah.
So I went there, met a lot of writers there and shit. fools was like, really about their graffiti and shit. But like I said, later on, most of them turned overhill, 6-0 and shit. And I got kicked out of that school on purpose, man. I just like rode on the roof one day and was like, fuck this shit. I want to go to Audubon. She's sending me to this motherfucking Westchester shit. I'm like, nah, I'm out of here. So I got kicked out of there.
I don't know, bro. I think you would have been chilling. There would have been.
It was cool for a minute. I just wasn't feeling like the culture shock. Like it was like racially diverse and shit.
There's a bad light skinned bitches and shit. Like,
Westchester has some bad bitches.
That's what I'm saying, fool.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, I'm at 7th grade at this time. My thing is like I want to build my name in my area.
Right.
So everybody going to Audubon, that's where I'm going, and anything other than that I wasn't really too much feeling and shit. But I met some dope motherfuckers at Overright. You know what I'm saying? So I got kicked out of there. Went to Audubon. Now I'm home. Like all the homies and shit. Like, yeah, we started this shit called MBT and shit. You want to be down? I'm like, yeah, I'm with it. We ride on buses and all this. Fucked around, got kicked out of Audubon.
What'd you get kicked out for?
Let me see. It was a little choir room over in the cut, and I had what is known as a pilot marker, and it was like juiced up. And like I say, we used to like fucking shit up. So I just doused all gang of pilot ink on the floor of the choir room, just for nothing.
You didn't even catch a spot? You're just like...
Oh, I was up all around the school, but I just wanted to just like fuck shit up. I was a destructive kid and shit.
Were you always Monstro? Like...
Nah, back then, I ran through a few names. I was only a 2 once. Shout out to my big homie, rest in peace, Rain One, from NBT, who later got... recorded on 40s and shit, but that was the only dude I was a 2 up under, and he did have characters and capiche and all that shit.
So MBT gets cracking. Are y'all starting to get pressed by gangs and beefing with other crews at that point?
Not at this point. At this point, we still like establishing ourselves and shit. It was later on when we moved our little crew down to Lamert Park. And we started riding on buses there. Then that's when the 40s started coming up to the park and kind of like pressing motherfuckers, recruiting motherfuckers and shit like that.
Because, like, I mean, for a lot of people that don't know, Nothing But Trouble that's the MBT, that's the Trouble from 5-1 Trouble, right?
Yeah. But I was from MBT though.
Right. But that's like that's where it started from, right? That's like the origins of that hood.
Yeah, that's where it started from. I actually seen a homie of mine that was around back then. His name is Renner. Shout out Renner from NBT. I don't know what they call him from 5-1, but that's where it started at.
So so when did that transition? Because that's crazy, and that's what I think people. One of the things I want to impress upon people is the danger of being in a graffiti crew, especially at that time. It's still kind of like that. I mean, but when you start getting pressed by gangs, it's like fools aren't looking for necessarily them type of issues.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, we were so unified in numbers, and we started making so much noise. We started popping up on radars of different sets and shit. Like, who the fuck is these motherfuckers? And the 40s was immediately like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? It's 40s or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So started like pressing motherfuckers at the park, and then the transition, I believe, happened in 90 something, like 91 or something like that. 92, after Rain got killed, after my big homie Rain One got killed at Hollywood High School. Then it was talks of turning into a set, at which point who they went up under, no disrespect, but I couldn't take that ride with him because I'm
where you grew up,
growing up in the 40s and shit, and if I'm a gangbang, it's gonna be from that,
right?
So I kind of parted ways at which point.
Did you catch a little bit of like flack from that?
Nah, because it was a lot of troubles a lot of MBTs that went 40s too. Like I had my little crew of motherfuckers that was from around there too. Like the homie Rain, the homie Merce, T Black from 40s, a couple of homie Bill Blast, who was Zell from MBT. So we had our little clique of MBT around there, up and down Vernon.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it always like tripped me out watching the transition from graffiti crews to gangs, like when they turn, because you'll have fools will have the graffiti names like Mixer or Jinx and all these, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
then you see him one day like, nah, don't call me that.
Yeah.
Now it's Lil Whoopty Whoop.
Yeah, they call me Shadow.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay, you all right.
Yeah.
Whole new get down and shit.
Yeah, that always tripped me out. Like, and I was like, bro, like I remember we used to catch spots together, and now
Yeah. But see, that just goes to show you that it's all branches. It's all connected. So when people get into graffiti, thinking that it's just like pretty characters and pretty pieces and shit, you know, you have to be well-rounded out here. You gotta give respect to the motherfucker who will go catch a throw up. Give respect to the motherfucker who will catch a scribe. Give respect to the motherfucker who's in the galleries. It's all inconclusive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And when did just to give a little bit of background, a lot of people obviously because of his son, Almighty Suspect, know about Rifleman LA Cool now and are familiar with Project Blowed through the whole back and forth with him and AD that one time.
Yep.
And you know, obviously, if you're a hip hop fan across the world above 35 years old, you probably know what Project Blowed is. And and if you're from LA and above 35 years old, like you have been influenced. If you're a part of hip hop culture, you've been influenced by the Blowed, and you've been a regular at the Blowed for many moons now.
For some years, but think about before Good Life, we had this spot called iFresh that was ran by Ben Caldwell.
Shout out to the OG Ben Caldwell.
Shout out Ben Caldwell, a pillar for real, a pillar in the community. But we had a spot called iFresh that was right across the street from Lamert. And I remember one time I seen LL Cool J go up there, but he was being shadowed by Bobcat from 6-0 because LL had got pressed out here over some shit and got it, you know, the whole chain snatching story.
The Grape Street pressing, I think, wasn't that?
I don't know if it was the Grape Street. I always heard it was the 60s.
Okay.
But I know they got at him, pressed him on stage.
Like Summer Jam, right? Or
one of them big ass functions and shit. He thought it was sweet and shit, and you know, motherfuckers like, nigga, we need that. I don't give a fuck who you is.
Right.
This is whoop-de-whoop. So he started rolling with Bobcat real tough and shit. I seen him up at iFresh, so I started understanding, like, oh, okay, a lot of hip hop going up in there and shit. And then a few years later, they started the Good Life.
That's crazy. So a lot of people aren't aware of this history. So even before Crenshaw and Exposition, you had the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good Life. This is over in Lamert was the iFresh.
But see, it was not, because everybody wasn't rapping then. You know, as it picked up, everybody started rapping and shit. But when iFresh was cracking, only a few you had to really be tapped into the hip hop shit in its early beginnings in LA to know about iFresh.
At that time, was it still like, because a lot of people don't know about the origins of LA hip hop music and like the kind of dance heavy influence of the, you know, like I mean, obviously you go back and look at Dre's old World Class Wrecking Crew and Ronnie O and Joe Cooley and all that. Was it kind of like, was that the vibe or was it?
Well, I believe before hip hop, it was kind of like disco-ish.
Right. You know, funk.
Yeah, funk and shit like that.
Like cutie pie type shit, right?
For the reason.
Yeah.
And, but see, with the dancing, we had a spot called Club Nouveau that was on King. And a lot of Troubles and K-Dubs and Sex Jerks and like Posers, a lot of these little crews, like baby gangs would meet up at Club Nouveau. That's when the housing was real tough. And
party crews.
Yeah, Scheme Team, shout out Scheme Team. Yeah, Raz used to come up there, Raz Cash, shout out Raz.
That's a whole bunch of LA history that people aren't even aware of, and it'll take that's many conversations to really dissect all that. So
yeah, shit used to go sideways at Nouveau, man. It used to get really real up there and shit. Yeah. So you kind of were making a conscious decision though to not get from a hood, like an actual gang, but... Well, I mean, I got jumped on some shit. Like, we started some shit called Lamert Park Gangsters.
Okay.
The shit got shut down quick by the police, and we was jumping, niggas just jumping motherfuckers on that. I got jumped on that, you know what I'm saying? But as far as when fools was getting really on their gangbanging and shit, I was already around it, so I didn't feel there was nothing I had to, hey, me too. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was just like, oh, okay. It was just natural. But I was still on my hip-hop shit, like the graffiti shit. You know, even when motherfuckers kind of put the can down and put the strap up, I still was like, nah, but this shit is dope, though. I'm already tapped into this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I grew up really influenced by, I looked up to like the AOBs. Real tough.
Respect. Rest in peace, Search.
R.I.P. Search. I remember being like 15 years old.
Shout out my nigga Runner.
And R.I.P. my boy Shady as well. You know what I'm saying? I used to really look up to Shady at a young age. Shouts to my dog Toker, all them dudes. Like
they were more on the west side.
Yeah, I'm from West LA, so yeah. Like I grew up like La Cienega, Jeff area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so.
See, I didn't really start venturing out until like maybe around mid high school. All before then was just nigga Lamert burning the area.
You a South Central baby.
Yeah, I mean even the Crenshaw district is kind of on the outskirts of South.
People call that the West Side. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but it's South Central still, but you transitioning into like, you know, Westwood and Baldwin Hills and shit like that. South Central, you go past Normandy, you start hitting like them streets like Vermont, Avalon, and Central, shit like that. That's
yeah.
South Central right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I mean, the East Side is a whole different. You know, once.
Yep, my mom's is from Compton and shit. And yeah,
that's a whole different thing. But
whole different world.
But I remember being 15 years old and being in a whip with Search and Shady and my boy Drano and who I think he's doing hella years now. And I remember Search was like just super quiet. We were chilling. He was about to go catch some spots and listening to we're slapping the Infamous by Mobb Deep. Okay. And smoke a joint, and as soon as like Search starts smoking, like his head starts nodding all crazy. I was like, this dude's fucking terrifying human being. Like
I think we had bumped heads with the AOBs and NBTs. We had fell out with the AOBs a couple of times because Search used to come to the 40 stop in Lamert. Search was everywhere, man. He is encyclopedia of fucking the graffiti timeline and shit. Rest in peace to that dude.
Yeah, no, he's a really cool dude.
A lot of shit.
Once I became an adult and like reconnected with him, it was like a whole different vibe. But as a kid, look, I was just like, yo, these dudes are like, I thought like Shady was like Pac and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I thought them dudes, as a white boy from the West Side, you feel me? Like, you know, it hit different and squads that you was affiliated with, like K-Dub S, that was like
I got on the K-Dub. I got on the Dub a little later on in the game because like when I was from NBT, we had beef with the Dub. But however, the Dub started at the 40 stop. At one point, we was all one. I forget what it fell out over, but it was on with K-Dub and shit. And shout out to the homie Mozart. Shout out to Mo. You know what I'm saying? He man, factor in that whole shit. So later on, when I bumped back into these cats, shout out Texter too. He's the one that, not Texter 2, but Texter also.
Right.
He's the one that started the Dub, started K-Dub. And they seen I was still on my painting shit, and then they gave me the invite to the Dub. You know, it was like, yeah, we know you used to be from the other side, but you know, you got qualities of a king, kings with style. Why don't you get down with the Dub? So I'm like, well, shit. I mean, y'all still active on the wall work and the painting and shit and pushing. I was there when the Dub started. It's only right. Yeah.
I never had the artistic ability to really take it beyond. Like the most I could do is like a throw up, and to me that's like I'm just was like a mobber. You feel me,
right.
A bomber.
But
like,
see, the thing is, you get your best respect, man. If all you got is that one tag, you need to perfect that shit to where you fools will be like, you know, you're gonna have that one tag, but it's gonna be clean every time.
Right.
Boom. Yeah.
Right.
You know, when fools start taking on too many hats and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you, like, how did you evolve? Like, were you always artistically inclined? Because a lot of people don't know, like, some of your mural work is amazing. Like some of the Nipsey murals that you've done, and the like, just the details I always talk about with you is the subtle details and just the textures of the people's facial features and the way that you make, like the one, I think it was the Nipsey piece, the Nipsey and Snoop piece that you did.
Oh yeah,
did
that was with alongside the homie Plek One, WAIUTI CBS, and we did that in Compton, and he called me in for the portrait work. I've done a few Nipsey murals and shit, but I credit a lot of learning from Ink One, RTN, CMA, K-Dub, Ink One.
What's some advice you would give to somebody that, like, if someone was like, how do I catch spots? How do I make art with aerosol if you're artistically inclined or not? Like, what would you say to somebody?
Well, it depends on if they just talking about art or graffiti, you know, so.
Doing, like, taking it beyond, like, tags and throws and doing, like, actual pieces.
My advice is get to know each element of it and work your way up to that, and find you people to kind of follow their work. Do your research on what style came from where, and you know, do your research and shit. And then when you want to pick up the can and start fucking with it, fuck with one thing. Say an apple. Paint one apple a week, and then just, you know, peep it, and then see what you're missing, what you can add next time. Just don't overwhelm yourself with doing some way out 3D fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Just pick one item and just keep hitting it.
And see, that was a big problem for me, because first of all, we wasn't allowed to buy cans. We had to rack that shit. That shit was expensive.
That's another thing. I racked all my supplies.
Yeah, that was part of the whole thing. And where do you, I mean, we used to have spots like Workman's Outlet you can get streakers from in the basement. We go up to the valley and get.
That's when you could buy them. But back when I started and shit, I hate to date myself, but pause. Date myself. All right, the honey pack. All right,
yeah, I was gonna say
that was a little one. That was a little.
Yeah.
But
getting up, honey packs.
Yeah. They grow. But we didn't have access to all the supplies like that. You had to go travel out to get to see a spot where they had unis and streaks and all the shit that motherfuckers was mobbing with.
Not to mention cans and the colors you want and shit.
Exactly. Yeah, like them Krylons and shit, that plum and that aqua and that true blue, those was high list right there.
We didn't know what Montana's was back then. Like, no, there wasn't no graffiti specific paint or anything like.
Only certain tags. It was to where certain tags only would have a flare tip. Right. You would be able to, like, ooh, he did a flare tip tag. Damn. Like this dude named Creole, he would always do flare tip tags and shit. And a lot of them Slauson cats. Because the Toys R Us over by the Fox Hills Mall was where you could take the flare tips off of the testers. They had the caps on the can. So all them Slauson motherfuckers would have access to that. It was like kind of like they spot. The tester cans and shit. They was about that big.
And then the next issue is, where do I paint this apple a week at? I can't do it at the crib. I can't, like, my mom see me with, you feel me? Like, I can't do that. Like, where do I practice?
So that would be up to you to find. At the same time, you growing your awareness of the areas. As you venturing out to find different spots to paint the apple, you also going in different areas and shit. And, like, that keeps you further tapped in than what's already up. Like, oh, okay. So it ain't just really just the apple. It's what's around it.
Right.
You understand? Like you finding the spot to do it, so that means you seeing other walls along the way. See, that's the thing about it. Like graffiti, you could go like get up, but just getting up is not the whole mission. It's like what you see along the way. And what was not there last week that is there this week and shit. So okay, he's back mobbing and shit and following other writers and shit. You know?
Now, if you okay, so let's say I start doing my apple.
Yes.
We getting around town. Let's say I wound up tagging. I paint an apple, but it's in somebody's barrio, and they started getting upset. I go back the next day, that apple's crossed out with the K next to it.
Well, I think you better find another spot to do an apple. That's what that sounds like.
Is there any other recourse, or is it up for me at this point?
Nah, man, it ain't up for it. Man, it's a big old city out here. It's a big old city.
But I better stay away from that part of town.
Based on that experience,
They apple killer now.
Yeah.
They apple killer over there.
Apples and oranges. Okay, see that. All right, never mind. see how everything is tied in. Yeah,
they're gonna trip on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, at which point does becoming all city become this ambition for a young writer on the come up?
Once it starts to like speak to your spirit and you just like waking up with like, dude, I need to get that spot. I seen that spot. I'm gonna get that. And damn, he already got that spot. And then it starts to become like you are real ambitious about it, and you are with the camaraderie of it, with the battling and all this shit, and you pride yourself on getting down for your crown. As homie Mozart say, stay down for your crown. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to take the respect. Like you say, numbers don't lie and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just same as in the street. The territories tell stories.
Fact.
So that's another thing. It's like the walls. It's just not graffiti. It's like a communication type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So whether that be a set strike up or a writer that's in the area, it's all a dialect that's going on.
It's hieroglyphics. It's literally
exactly.
My boy R.I.P. Caddy Ron had a great line in a song. He said, "Read graffiti like the news," and it's like that's how. Hey, these fools are not getting along with these fools. I thought they had squashed it.
Yeah,
but they slashing each other. Like, oh, okay.
If you tapped into it and you get developed that keen eye of being in these areas. That's what I'm saying when people say they're in the streets. How in the streets are you? You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have to hear what everybody's talking about to see what the fuck is going on in general. You know what I mean? So you have to really stay tapped into your surroundings.
Did you ever catch some cases for writing?
Only case I ever caught was, let me see, this was like in 80 something. And they had a 105 bus, which is the Vernon bus, and I was on my way home. I was like, "Oh fuck it, got a bus pulled over right here." I caught a mob on it. Mm-hmm. It was a staged bus that had 5-6 undercovers on it. Mm. So when I rode on it, they jumped off. All of them jumped off and gaffled me up, and then they went around to the 40 stop and shit, and all the homies was out there and shit, and fools already knew, like, ain't nobody on that bus. That's the one that they driving around. Because the bus mobbing epidemic was so influential in Los Angeles, they opened up a whole nother sector of the LAPD on it, called the Clean Team. You know, and it was like, these motherfuckers we gonna have to find different approaches on how to stop this epidemic and shit. So this was one of their approaches. Like okay, we're gonna get an empty RTD bus, have it pulled over at the spot. However, on the bus, it's just going to be 6 undercover officers. Mm. You know, and whoever mob it, then it's kind of like fishing. We just going, you know.
They really were doing y'all like that, huh?
Yeah. And that's the only case I caught him. I caught another case, my bus mobbing on Wilshire, and they took me down to that fucking police station on Wall Street. Okay. Down there in the jank. Yeah. I work down there now. But yeah, this was like, I was like 15. This when the bomber jackets at first came with the fur collars and shit. Yeah. Back then, they gaffled me up and took me to that station on Wall Street.
So was your mom's tripping on you at all? Like,
Hell yeah, shit. But especially Step House. That's we used to raid my motherfucking stash in the room and shit. Cause like in my room, I have like all kind of markers I'd be doctoring up on and shit, paint shit all splashed on the wall and shit. So they would see the quote-unquote paraphernalia, but they wouldn't be able to catch me in the act. So, like, she would be tripping, but she couldn't do nothing about it. These cats threw me, the MBTs threw me my first birthday party ever. I was turned 13 years old. They threw a party in my backyard.
Damn, were you like Jehovah's Witness or some shit?
Was I Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah.
No, MBT is what I'm talking about.
I'm just about to say you never had a birthday party before.
Oh no, well, I'm talking about like I won't want to say of age, but like it was my first
actual turn up.
Yeah, girls there and shit.
Yeah.
Like you know, weed and shit. Like they were the first ones to facilitate that. So her trying to come in between my get down, she didn't really know how to approach it. She didn't really know how to approach it. So you know.
And
that's what it is.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention also who my real big bro is, and one of my best friends is Rezik. You know what I mean?
Oh, shout out Rez. Man.
Yeah, obviously
solid.
Litco Energy Drink sponsorship.
Litco
right? Yeah,
versus everybody. Rez come a long way, man.
Yeah. He's a real LA king on multiple levels. So
yes, sir. You
shouts to big bro,
Rez, man.
Rezik, MTA,
UTI on the MTA,
UTI, all that. Yeah. So at a certain something that pops up a lot, and I want to get into a lot of your other stuff, but I feel like we have to touch on this fascinating graffiti history you got. At a certain point, it's kind of normal. Like if you can't claim multiple gangs. I can't say like, oh, I'm from I'm from Main Street Crips, but I'm also Denver Lane Blood.
Right.
You can't but it's completely out. And even if it's hoods that get along with each other, like you feel me, like, oh, I'm from Shoreline and Schoolyard. Like, no.
Yeah, see motherfuckers do that and getting wrecks. I see that shit all the time.
But in graffiti, you could be from multiple crews and it's not frowned upon to the same extent. Like,
well, there's not as much bloodshed going on in the culture like that. And you know, it's like you know, these are reputable crews. Motherfuckers do try to bring gangbanging into graffiti. It never works out. I'm saying if you want to go gangbang on a gangbanger. Right. Why you want to come to the graffiti shit and bring the politicking and all that old shit to it? You know what I'm saying? If you didn't do good in the gangbanging arena, then sit your ass down. Don't try to bring it over here into to what we doing over here.
It's very common. And it also don't make sense because
it's cut.
There's no real. I mean, there's obviously like when you was from NBT in the beginning. That's pretty much like it was exclusively black crew, right? There was like all y'all was black, but the
homie Wrist started a chapter out in the Valley though. The homie Ronnie. Wrist,
okay. Yep. But for the most part, it'd be you know what I mean. Like then at a certain point, it's like every crew you're in now has all different races, right? Like black, Mexican, white, Asians. Like
well, I mean, Rockin' the Nation is a black based crew. TBU, the Black Underground, is a black based crew. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point in the game, we are faced with, I don't want to say getting wrote out of the history as far as black writers, but that is a form of politicking too, but we not trying to get wrote out the history, bro. We contributed a lot to this shit. You know what I'm saying? That whole bus mob and shit. A lot of fools ain't from that cut. Like they don't have. Some of these writers didn't steal none of their shit. Like their parents started them as good artists and funded their shit. Right. Our shit was still like renegade status. It was frowned upon. You know what I mean? So. I don't know where I was going with that, but we
no. Yeah, just the racial dynamics. Especially because you know, like in suburban areas, this isn't mutually exclusive to race. Like parents might be a little more encouraging of their kids' artistic pursuits and all that. Like I saw in the CBS documentary Mir talking about his upbringing and his parents were like really, you know, like you're not going to find too many parents in the black community. Like
shout out Mir and Anger.
Shouts to Anger. Shouts to Mir. Shouts to all of CBS. You know what I'm saying? RP Skate. You know, like at a certain point, like. You're not gonna see like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like writing on this business wall right here. I mean, no races are really gonna be cool with it at a certain point. Like, I feel like liberal hippie white families might take to that a little bit more type shit.
Right. Our shit. I mean, from my understand from where I'm from. Is that we just used what was around us. We was growing up in the hood and shit, and it was like, you know, any subculture that would keep us off of killing each other, they was like, well, at least they not out here with the same old genocide, blue and red, fucking, because, but it was still like, my moms and my parents, my grandfather and all them would be like, "Grand, you out here writing? Didn't I see you writing on the bus the other day?
Yeah.
Like, what is you doing? You know what I'm saying? You ain't thinking about a trade to pick up."
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You want to do your art, well, then go to the museum. And, then I'm at that status now, but back then they was like,
well, yeah, because back then there wasn't, like, graffiti wasn't embraced by the MoMA and all that, and you would never.
It was not. Yep.
It was looked at as it took me years. I mean, my parents still, I think it looks terrible. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe some murals, if they saw you, like, your murals, they'd be like, oh, wow, that's dope art. But to me, I think tags are beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. The many styles of them.
Like especially like different, like, obviously LA is my favorite, like them LA, like, I mean, gangbang letters, I love them, but like those Philly.
I didn't seen dope ass gangster script though.
That's what I'm saying.
They should be dope, man. Like, I was in the joint shit, I seen like fools striking up shit. Like, I'm like, damn, that shit's clean.
Yeah, hella clean. And then there's those Philly tall letter script style where you can, it's like wild style tags where you could barely even discern it, right. But it's so intricate. It's like the most advanced scribble that's very deliberate, like abstract styles. Like, I love that shit personally. Like,
definitely.
I'm into all that. Now, what a lot of people aren't aware of is, I say this all the time, if you grew up in the 90s in LA and you didn't have at least a decent hand style, you was a fucking nerd. Yeah. Like,
I mean, shout out to MBT though. We the ones that coined that non-stop style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The connectables and shit.
Yeah, and you're not even moving. It's all just
all connected.
But what people are really not aware of is the fact that there was like, bitches were hungry for taggers back in the day. Graffiti groupies was a thing.
Oh, like, yeah. Yeah, them house parties, ditching parties and shit. Like we had a gang of little we had a QCT, Queens Causing Trouble, back in the days and shit.
I always
shout out to homegirl Amber.
I think a part of it is like women tend to like the excitement aspect. I think they like the covert sneakiness of it. Like, there's certain things that really like make women, I mean, beyond like, oh, like this dude's a renegade and a rebel. Like, I think they really just like the adrenaline.
He's on some different shit.
Like, I don't know. I don't think they are on it like that anymore. They still might be to an extent, but
yeah,
back then it was a thing though.
Yeah.
In LA, bitches loved taggers.
Straight up, because it was not as trendy as it is today. You couldn't go on the internet and just watch somebody else's style and learn some shit. And it wasn't easily accessible.
Yeah.
It was still like mysterious and shit.
Yeah.
So when a bitch meet a writer, you get a different version of her because other motherfuckers ain't speaking to that side of her.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you standing out more, like, of course she'll have other motherfuckers, she's a little tagger motherfucker, but low key she's like, he ain't on what y'all on. Like,
right.
He's different.
Like, yeah, Brad, go to football practice. I'm
exactly.
Yeah, like,
yeah. You know what we call that in the graffiti world, Brad? Toy. How about that? You're a toy, bro. Yeah.
So, yeah, Rick, you want to join us, brother? Pop up. We got Big Rick in the building. He just got a haircut. Shaving a haircut. Everybody, man, stomp on that like button, share, subscribe, run it up, shoot the donos if you want anything addressed. I already addressed everything I had to say about that other shit, you feel me? I don't even give a fuck. Y'all can say what the fuck y'all want, you feel me? We pushing this line right now, and we gonna get into some dope, first of all, Rick, you doing cool, bro? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, I'm good. Mic check.
Yeah, we gonna get Rick's mic on.
Mic check.
I want to take this opportunity to say rest in peace to the homie Rick's pops, and we're gonna have a link in the description of this video for the GoFundMe for Rick's pops, so we can give him the burial that he deserves. So we gonna make sure that happens. What was Pop's name?
They call him Chileno, bro.
Chileno, okay.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to a real one.
That's Pops, bro.
You doing all right, though?
I'm good.
That's right.
I'm good,
That's
you know.
Yeah.
This is how he would want me to be doing, you know.
Got to keep pushing the line, baby.
He didn't raise a sucker, dog.
With that being said, Stro, I know that you're pretty vocal about what you've been through as far as partying. Look, like I always say, there's fun with consequences with fun, and then consequences, right? So like how big were drugs in the picture and drinking for you, and how much like through these early ages? And
my first, with my biological pops, my condolences again. But I had my first taste of suds with my biological pops. The few times I did see him, I got like fragmented memories of him. But I remember he used to say, "Fill it down the hatch," and that was my first time getting turned on to alcohol. And then later on in the game, I had a friend of mine, the homie Lafayette. He was from Grape, and he stayed down the street from the Watts Towers. I used to like going over his house because there wasn't no structure. We could be out all that. So we got a 40 ounce one time. Let me see, I was in about like 8th grade, and got caught drinking the 40, and then his moms made us drink another one till we was sick.
His mom's made y'all.
Yeah.
Like, oh, y'all think you're gonna get drunk?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same way when I got caught smoking a cigarette, my step pops was like, "Oh, you want to smoke? You want to smoke this whole motherfucking pack?"
I think that's the best thing to do to a kid, because you're gonna make them not want to smoke no more. Straight up.
Right. Yeah. So,
but it had the opposite effect on you with the drink.
That night, I was like, "Oh hell no!" But then, kind of later on in the game, I started fucking with weed. I first started smoking weed about 12, 13 years old. We I used to kick it on 8th Ave a lot. 8th Ave and Vernon. And it was this cat that stayed over there. Is a single older man, and his car was always unlocked. And we would break into his car, and he would have roaches in his ashtray. So we started smoking his roaches and shit, you know what I'm saying, as a kid. And then later on, when moms got with my step pops, he had already been selling pounds of weed, big. Every dude my mom's been with, she only had 2 step pops, but these cats would always smoke weed. So I kind of got turned on to it in the house. And then I started selling weed. Sold my first pound of weed. I was probably like 10th grade, you know. And then I started like going hard with smoking it. You know, but that was when weed had seeds. Remember that shit, seeds?
Stress.
Back in the day.
Man, brick weed, homie.
Yeah.
That's stress.
Brick weed.
Yeah. So.
But then it elevated from there and became.
It elevated from there, and you know, we started getting wet and shit. We started fucking with the urn and shit.
To describe it, because a lot of people don't know what getting wet really feels like. Like what's getting wet like?
That is smoking PCP.
Right.
Which is, they call embalming fluid.
Which, by the way, if you're smoking that stress weed in the 90s, especially with the Mexicans, I ain't gonna lie, there's
lovely.
A good chance you was gonna get wet, whether you wanted to or not.
Get wet.
So yeah, we started fucking with that, and then shit, we used to travel far and few for the urn, man. They had some good sherm on the east side and shit. But I used to be a spot in the hood called Sherm Alley. Shit, we used to get it from.
What does it feel like though? I mean, I know what it feels like.
You just feel like you're floating, and you feel like real strong. Like it's just your head is like woo, woo, woo. Like, you know, you feel like unstoppable. Shit, like you walk off of it and you don't feel the ground and shit. You know, you do everything extra out, like, give me this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, say if I was to move this mic, move it all hard and shit off Sherm and shit.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it gets you to a certain point of your high, you get stuck. You know, you fuck around and be like hanging on to a tree for like the rest of the day, stuck and shit. You know, but yeah, Yerman was no joke. No.
Why? So, like, obviously, have you heard the story of Big Lurch, the rapper that got Sherm down and wound up, killed his chick and wound up eating her, like he ate her lung and all that
over there in the lanes on Fig and shit.
Yeah. Why would Sherm take someone to that point?
Man, never walked through to that room where I was even like considering shit like that. Certain motherfuckers have shit that set in before the drug, co-occurring disorders before the substance, and the substance just kind of like amplifies it. I would think, my uneducated estimate.
Yeah, like even you know the dude that was a Wu-Tang affiliate, the guy Christ Bearer.
Yeah, that was like what?
This dude got shermed out and cut his dick off.
He don't know honey pack for his ass.
Yeah,
Man.
Yeah, that's a rap-a-thon.
yeah.
Damn.
He said they were able to reattach it and it worked, and maybe the honey packs will help. I don't know.
Probably got an oxtail inserted or something like that.
Right, man, I don't even think of it. Like, what you got to be at to do some shit like that?
I'm just thinking what kind of scream
What
you would
game
make
is
by
that?
doing some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
that shit sounds painful as fuck.
Yeah,
boy.
but
Yeah.
that's the people want to say that's some drugs. Yes, it is a percentage, but it's also the co-occurring disorders that you never know what the fuck is clanking around in the next motherfucker's head and shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially to a motherfucker that's like kind of up and ain't got to really hustle for it. Like you say, he was from Wu-Tang, so I'm sure he had endless amounts of shit at his fingertips. I mean, I don't know, but you know, motherfuckers get high and just be like, I wonder if I fucking take apart this motor. Like, you know, you never know where a motherfucking tweak will take him and shit.
He sliced off his urina.
Bruh. Old motherfucker for that one, boy.
Yeah. So, did you wind up getting into harder shit though?
Yeah, later on in the game, I started doing trying coke and shit, and that was around 90s, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Sold coke for a minute and shit. I never really fucked with the hard, like I never really fucked with Ye or nothing like that. But it was just like cocaine and shit. Used to do the cocaine, had all this numb and shit. You know, yeah.
And that's where, when did things get out of control and unmanageable for you?
Man, let's see. Let me see. I really got kind of like really deep into shit. The homie had a spot called Flotations. Shout out Global Flotations, Agru Brown, peace. I don't want to put him out there like that, you know. But when we were over there, we was going hard, though. We was trying all kind of shit like the peyote, opium, mescaline, the Special K, the ketamine, and micro dots, all kind of shit. But it would be coupled with a creative type of niche. Like we do this and we doing songs all night. We watching documentaries and shit, and in turn fooling ourselves into thinking that not realizing that we were becoming dependent on these substances.
That was a big thing for me too. Like taking gooms and ecstasy, and then thinking that I was.
Yeah, I'm not like him.
I'm an artistic being, and I'm
not that bad.
I'm in touch with the infinite of the cosmos, and like
you marveling off of shit that has been here since the beginning of time. Like, why does the sky?
Yeah.
Fucking. What you gonna do in the morning? Are you going to work in the morning, brother? Like, you know, you want to talk about the sky and the moons all night and shit, you know, and we marvel off of these things, but we fool ourselves into thinking that see, the thing about addiction is you never see it coming until it's here. You know what I'm saying? And once you realize all bets is already off.
Yeah. Look, I remember, he said Oasis. I remember, he said Rick Boys. Shout to Danny Gallardo. So funny you talked about that, because I was really into tape trading for a while, and just looking for the rare underground gems, like all the Project Glow, Living Legends, Log Cabin, all that. Just like
Log Cabin, damn.
Yeah,
Even Mercy.
Yeah, I was like obsessed with
Log Cabin.
Yep, Eli. Yeah. Scarab, I think, was part of it.
Yeah.
Radioactive. I was into all that shit. Shapeshifters, you feel me? 2Max. Like, I was just like jamming all that shit, and I remember we used to take acid and try to dissect the meanings and these like abstract lyrics from all these songs.
Yeah.
And I remember I had been on a bunch of drugs one weekend, and then I went to the homie and I was like, yo, I figured out the truth about living legends that you were trying to tell me. Like, yeah, they really are on some shit. He's like, yeah, what'd you find out? I was like, I mean, they're aliens. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Reset, man. Sit down, man.
Yeah. He's like, and I was like, wait a sec. I've been bugging this whole time. Like, yeah. So at a certain point, that shit wound up just getting away from you. And
yeah, I mean, I started catching cases, not too much really over dope though, but like I have I have a couple of sales cases under my belt. That was later on in the game when it got real wild and shit. Motherfucker was, you know, kind of serving from the curb and shit. But
he was outside.
Yeah. I got a case selling crack cocaine, and they would mark money, and you know they offered me to do what the motherfucker on the bike that bought the crack from me. They offered me to do what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, give me my time. So they, you know, I caught my first term off of that shit. But early on in the game, when the using started happening, it was coupled with clubs and hip hop and graffiti and artistic shit, which makes it more delusional though in turn, because we don't really see the progressiveness of addiction, especially when it's layered in some creative vice that you think that is helping.
Because you're already on the outskirts of society. By the way, shouts to Aussie G for the dono. Appreciate you, big dog. But you like, so you're already existing on the fringes. So you're like, I don't need to judge myself by societal standards. I'm already outside the box.
Hold up, I need to shout out the homie Pester.
Oh, Pester in the building.
Grease.
That's right.
5,
yeah.
RTN, K-Dub.
Yeah, I remember Pester back in the day.
Yeah.
Bro with dreads, Pester?
He's from RTN, man, and
okay.
from the Dub.
Okay.
But it was just been many Pesters.
Okay.
But this one, he's out of the area over there of Slim and Mac.
Shouts to bro. Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Eddie Heard.
With that being said, so so you started catching cases. What's the longest bid you had to do?
Well, I mean, I did all of my 20s and 30s in and out of the county. Like 6 months here, county lid here. It started progressively, you know, it was 6 months, 8 months, year. And then it wasn't until I got into my mid 30s when I actually hit a yard, and my first term was 3 years. Lightweight, and which I only did like 2 off of 2 straight.
What's the like when you would be locked up? Was it just like, I can't wait to get back on the block again, or were you like, I need to fucking flip the script, I can't keep going on like this?
Well, when I was locked up through the county, see, motherfuckers have a tendency of going in them places thinking it's all good, because they get too adapted to the program and they end up bringing the county out on the streets with them, right? So it'll affect you. You adopt these new ways of thinking and these new ways of being, and they kind of add to the behaviors that will take you right back to that shit. So I was kind of in the cycle of that shit. You know, it started from just like, you know, I've been stealing clothes and markers and all that shit since a kid. So I started getting a thrill off of the feeling of getting over on shit. You know, so when my criminology started getting more sophisticated to where I'm like busting checks and doing all kind of little other shit, you know, and seeming like, oh, I made it through the first time in the county, ain't gonna be shit. So let me go, you know, then get booked again. Next thing you know, you look up, you done did half your 20s, all your 20s in the county. My son is in there right now on his first bid, 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? I told him he got a strap case, you know, but I told him, like, one day, man, you're gonna see them tanks and shit.
Yeah.
And damn sure. You know, he called me the other day, like, yeah, man. I'm like, yeah, it's very real.
What's the craziest thing that you experienced while incarcerated or witnessed?
My first riot.
Break it down.
So at this time, there was something that happened on the streets, not naming no names and no sets and nothing like that, but something big had happened on the streets with 2 specific cars, right? And it spilt over, it made it all the way up the ladder to the shot callers up in like Pelican Bay, like high places. Words started coming down for dorms to crack off. You feel me? It's all connected. The joint in the county, and shit'll get around quick. Motherfucker had your paperwork before you even touched the yard. Rick, no?
Yeah.
Before you even touched the yard. So my first riot, that shit was off the hook, man. We went to the yard and shit in the county in East Max, and then when we came back from the yard, it's just the dorm next to it started to just sound like a baseball game. Like, I heard bunks scraping on the floor and shit. Then you just hear they shot call, get your money on me. It's like, and the blacks, get up. It's just blurs of squabs everywhere and shit. And half of the motherfuckers that was peacocking tough in the day room was running, homie, and hiding under beds. Hiding under bunks. And a lot of key pats that was getting down was the non-affiliates and the smokers.
They was going crazy.
Mm-hmm. And it was a trip, man. That was my first. I always heard about it going back and forth to the county, like, hey man, that riot, man, that dorm kicked off another. But actually experiencing it, and so, and we were outnumbered in our dorms. We always are often, but we still, did our shit, and they put us in the bathroom, and the police came and set a camera up while it was going down and shit, and shot the little bean bags and shit, and the tear gas and all. It was that shit was crazy, homie. Crazy.
Like a scene from Spartan 300.
That real shit. You already, man. Come on, bro.
And you, like, even though you're not from a gang, because of where you grew up, are you like instantly kind of affiliated?
Better get out. It's either One Love or you can roll One Love, non-affiliate. But when I got to the joint, where you grew up at, you in the neighborhood car.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck. You in this car.
So you have to catch fades off rip then, regardless.
Nah, I didn't have to get out or catch no fades, but I think to know when to jump, like be somewhere in the motherfucking area, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just the politicking of how it get down.
Yeah, I mean, you could push non-affiliate or whatever, but when some shit go down, you better be on your One Love, like, to the fullest, or you gonna catch it. I've seen melees happen amongst different sets within the black car. I remember one time Park Villages got into it where we was in a Damu dorm. We was in a 2Ps dorm, and the Park Villages that got into it with the Ruse, and they had a little melee in the back and shit. So that goes down. I speak that dialect clearly.
Right.
I understand that shit through and through. So, but when it all goes down, then everybody, you know what I mean, gotta perform and shit.
And at a certain point, all those little things are out the window, and it's just your race, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when did you realize that I've had enough of this shit, I need to flip the script and get off the dope? And
shit, let's see. I paroled from Tehachapi in 2009, and I ended up staying at this one transitional spot on Vernon in Kansas, and I moved in there with two other active rips and shit. Chili Chill from 40 Avalon and Southern nigga from Spooktown. And this was a transitional spot. So it was already some East Side motherfuckers in there already. Cat from Grape, Cat from Santana and shit, they was already there. But when we moved in, the homie from Spooktown naturally went with them. Politics started setting in there, even on the street. I'm telling you, man, this shit, with the mental shit, it go deep. Before you even think, you adjust to it. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up catching a case on Vernon and Vermont at the Numero Uno's, some bullshit, trying to steal some, and then the security guards tried to tackle me, and I fought back and ran and put on a big ass show. Now it's a robbery. 2 security guards, 2 counts of robbery now. And boom, parole violation, because I was on parole when I did this shit. Fought the case down to petty theft with a prior, being that they pepper sprayed me while I was in handcuffs. So when that was brought to the court, they stopped pushing the line. They kind of fell back like, oh, that's because I could press now. So the judge was like, how about this? We're going to give you petty theft with a prior, and we're going to offer you this program called Impact. Now, for the charge for petty theft with a prior, we're going to give you 5 years because you got prison priors. But we're going to set the 5 years aside and give you the program. So they moved me from general population into another dorm in Wayside South and shit. It was like a little program dorm and shit.
Shouts to Francis for the 50. Love you. Gilligan Slayer for the tension. Love you. Come on. Appreciate y'all.
So in this program within the jail, they had a thing called H&I, Hospitals and Institutions. And speakers from outside would come in and speak. And I started hearing shit that resonated with me, because these was motherfuckers that, like, you know, push baskets and stayed in tents. And, you know,
Low Bottom.
Yeah, Low Bottom. Speaking of Low Bottom, my sponsor is out of Low Bottoms.
That's
they
right.
There on Central and shit. But I managed I was the night manager of the sober living on Low Bottom, in Low Bottoms.
That sounds
a whole
great.
nother story. A spot called Pink Palace over off of Adams and Central. But being in this and getting in this dorm, in this program dorm, my counselor was this big old dude from Compton, from Front Hood. His name was Gary, and he was a ex-bank robber. Big old dude, but he had like 20-some years clean and shit. And he would give us he would school us on recovery on the way that would resonate with at least me, because he didn't come with that textbook shit. He was like, crackhead motherfucker. It was like, I didn't smoke crack. I don't give a fuck what you smoke, motherfucker. You in this program, don't I don't give a fuck if you draw and rap and all. Nigga, fuck that. You in this dorm with us, rest of us fucking addicts and shit. So don't get up in here thinking you know. And that shit, it wouldn't resonate with me unless I'm getting it like,
Right.
pause. But
Hey, yo!
Hey, honey pack. I don't know how that connects, but so I mean, if unless I don't resonate with the textbook soft approach in regards to learning this recovery shit, especially, you know, I thought I was different, thought I was special, other than I didn't smoke crack. I stayed fresh. I would just go steal something. I didn't live in no tent. No.
What did Kendrick say? I don't smoke crack, motherfucker. I sell it.
I did sell crack.
There you go.
But so being in this program, some of the shit started resonating with me, man. And you know, I was just tired of going out of jail. I had little ones now, and I got like 4 kids at the time. No, I got 3 kids at the time.
You got a lot of catching up to do for Ray J. Like,
What you mean for Ray J?
Ray J got like 20 kids, so
Oh, shit.
4. You got a lot of catching up to do.
Oh yeah.
He said, what you mean, Ray J? I haven't got that child support bill yet.
Yeah.
What happened?
How'd you know about Ray J? That's my 5th kid. What do you mean?
Yeah, man. So I started taking it serious and shit, and you know, here I am now with the 12 years clean and shit.
By the grace of God, motherfucker. Yeah.
Yep.
No, a lot of people get tripped up when it comes to, I don't want to talk too much about the 12-step shit, you feel me? But people always they think, oh, it's some religious shit and it's all about God. Me, I believe in God, so I don't have a hard time with that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that I talk to that are flirting with the idea of recovery and getting into the steps or programs like that,
Right.
they're like, yo, I don't want to get brainwashed and turn religious.
Yeah.
That's why I feel that it's important that we get somebody a lot more creative on how to help recovery than to base it off of, you know, faith, because faith is something that is being, there's there's countries going to war over faith. You know what I'm saying? We're going to war over oil.
Big and Pac went to war over faith.
And so it's over faith. That was a good one. I got that shit quick. But no, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's you know, for faith-based is cool if that's your angle. But I think the person who could come up with a recovery base that's more in touch with people and understanding that has nothing to do with faith, but personality, character, knowledge, and stuff that comes from the streets to help them transition into, you know, becoming a better person in society. That type of recovery center will succeed, to me, in my opinion, a lot more. Even though there's, you know, the AA, it really is. If you live it, it's a lifestyle. You have to live that lifestyle. You know, you don't count, you know, days and stuff. You know, once you get into the years, like 12 years, you know the milestone you've accomplished when you look back, but you're not going that way no more. So,
right.
You know
but here's the thing, from my perspective, it's not about like faith. As far as what I think most people believe being, how they're attributing it to the context of recovery is a big misconception.
Right.
It's not, you don't need to believe in a typical Judeo-Christian ideology of God.
The thing of it is, it's like you see it. This is why it's important to have people telling their experience, strength, and hope, because some people don't have a relationship with quote unquote God. So you can see that it's working for that motherfucker over there. You believe that, you see that right in front of your eyes.
Seeing is believing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that speaks to them. You know, you gonna hear some story that speak to you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And to me, like, ultimately, what I tell people, because I'm like, that's why I wanted to know what y'all thought about that. Because for me, what I tell people, if they're like, oh, you know, I'm interested in this, I want to get clean. How do you get clean? I tell them how I got clean, and then they're like, yeah, but like, I don't believe in God. And I'm like, well, you ain't got to believe in God. It ain't got to be about that. You just got to believe that there's something bigger than you out there.
Exactly.
And that it's not all about you.
Yeah.
Like, believe in the power of this moment right now, the connection of the 4 people in this room that we share. When you say something that resonates with me, that's God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That energy. It doesn't have to be labeled as God. You could call it the universe. You could call it fucking Sheila. It don't fucking matter. You feel me? Yeah. And I think that's what I try to impress upon people that get that misconstrued. And I think ultimately a lot of people, what I notice is that's an excuse. That's them. That's their mental obsession, being like, hey, like, don't get fucking clean.
The thing is, as addicts, me myself, I overthink everything. You could fuck around and conceptualize and think yourself out of something that could save your ass.
Yeah.
By trying to wrap your mind around it, other than focusing on what's going on right in front of you.
Right.
You know.
Right. And then you wind up just, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna just get loaded again. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how it goes.
It might cost you your life, though.
No, so you wound up getting clean, and you spent a lot of years. To this day, are you still working in the recovery community and sober houses? And
well, I mean, the thing about it is, I learned to, being a counselor for 2 years at Tarzana, I learned how to separate recovery from treatment.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Right. What's the distinction? Break that down.
The distinction is that with working in Tarzana as a business deal, I'm an employee there, to where I can share some of my experience, strength, and hope, but I can't condemn a client to say, I can fuck around and fuck his perception off if I'm like, the only way is 12 steps.
Right.
It's whatever gonna save his life.
And that's kind of like what Rick was saying, low-key.
Exactly. I didn't see motherfuckers fuck jobs off by mixing recovery and treatment. Mm-hmm. You know, there is no one way to get clean, and some motherfuckers stop cold turkey. You know, so I had to learn to differentiate that. You know, because if you go in without the understanding that at the end of the day it's a business agreement, I'm there as an employee. I'm a drug counselor, but I'm also there as an employee. There could be shit that goes on in the treatment thing that'll fuck with my spirit. Like, that's wrong. They shouldn't. And I'm talking to my sponsor about that. You know, this business, bro. half these motherfuckers that work here is addicts too. And everybody ain't on no NA shit or AA shit. Some motherfuckers still drink and get down at the job. Don't be surprised.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful not to bring work home with you. That's why you have to know what your position is there. I worked there for 2 years, Tarzan, in the Valley as a counselor. Now what I do is I'm a caseworker in the Skid Row community. Shout out Skid Row community. Rest in peace, General Jeff.
R.I.P.
So being that I've lived down there in what is called a SRO, a single room occupancy. I've lived in the wine guard. I've done all that shit. So now I get a chance to work out there and help people who are in the position I was in to get housing and stuff like that. So now it's more like linking people to shit. Like I don't run groups. I have one-on-ones with clients, but I'm not telling them you need to write an example of how your disease took you to, I'm not doing that. If they don't want to fucking get clean, they don't want to fucking get clean. That ain't my role. I can only just share what I've been through.
Right. So you're basically now like a liaison, like an agent, helping people to get resources to better their lives.
In the thick of it, on Skid Row every day.
And as someone that was yourself in a similar position, how much more rewarding is your life nowadays?
Well, I mean, I've seen... I've had clients hit me up and tell me they're working in treatment and thank me for being an impact on them, right? And when I was working at Tarzana, one connect I had was I was the only one there. They would know, like, oh, he's the one, UTI, yeah, you do music too. And the client would resonate with the clients, right? So they would, it's all about establishing a rapport. It's all about a connection. If my story can resonate with his, that's a connection. So now we can exchange. He can exchange shit I didn't know. I can exchange shit he didn't know, and we can sharpen iron. So based on I had such a good rapport with the clients there, I'm able to see my influence. I've had people hit me up several times over the years, like, man, I remember your groups, bro, and man, thank you, and and so yeah.
That's amazing. Shouts to Mo for the Cinco. Appreciate you. Much love. What's the craziest thing that you've seen or experienced as, working in these sober houses and in those environments?
Let's see. So here's something crazy. I worked at this spot on in Skid Row. It's called the Tea House. It's on a street called Crocker. One of them janky streets, like a gang of 10.
Is that like off the nickel over there?
Yeah, where the Cubans be, active.
Right.
So
people don't even know there's Cubans in LA like that.
Shit, them motherfuckers got a whole sector in downtown.
Yeah.
The Cubans don't sleep.
That's a fact.
But
good coffee though they got.
Yeah, good coffee there. Yeah, but so I was working there overnight on the graveyard shift and shit, and this position was called harm reduction. So it was like you could use your drugs, just don't kill everybody up in here. Don't kill each other. So one time this cat was the reason I brought up the Cubans, because he was stupid enough to snatch some product that they had from them and run back into the treatment place. And all the way until the next morning, they sharked the parking lot. Like, we in there, Slim, you good, you can go, but nah, they sharked the parking lot looking for him and shit.
Yeah.
He never came out, but when he did came out, I'm sure he got, got met at the gate.
Right.
That's one. Another one was like actually doing graveyard shift, and by the morning time, motherfuckers OD'd in their little cots.
All biz ed.
Yeah, be flatline up in there.
You just walk in and found the body type shit?
It was so regular. Fools were so conditioned to it. They had just a protocol. Like, okay, grab the thing and boom. Downtown is, man.
Human life is valued a lot less. And that's why, that's what I get what you mean by you have to make that, like that line between, I'm leaving this at home. Or I'm leaving this at work. I'm not taking this energy back home with me.
It's not for everybody working in those conditions. It'll traumatize you like real quick. But also, I'm like, if you call yourself a true LA motherfucker, you at least have to experience a piece of the bottom of LA, of Skid Row.
Yeah.
At least walk through that shit once and like, damn, you know, because it's motherfuckers who call themselves LA who ain't never really been tested on no shit.
Yeah, some other shit.
You know,
repping the city and don't even know the struggle.
Exactly.
Period. You got to pound that damn pavement.
I live down in LA. I'm on Main Street in this building called the Frontier Hotel. This shit was off the hook. They used to do this thing called the Superman, where they would throw motherfuckers off the top of the shit.
The fuck?
Yeah, like we made him do the Superman, threw him out the fucking window.
Damn.
So I had my room in there. It was like $200 a month. Except you have to change rooms every month and shit. It was janky.
Like the Alexandria.
Yeah, one of them. Like, but it was like way fucked up, like New Jack City style.
Right. It's like the Carter.
Yeah. So it happened that me standing there by myself, you know, I functioned with people who I could function with, and you know, my little politics cut on. Like, okay, they from there. Okay, yeah, boom. Okay, I can talk to him. You know, he's got this. Okay, blah blah blah. You know, but living in there by myself for like a year, it was just like I really got to like take in, like, damn, downtown is a motherfucker. Yeah,
there's a lot of people that you could be from the trenches of LA and you just don't spend much time in downtown. That's a whole other beast.
It's a whole nother beast, man. If a motherfucker can make it there, that's some shit, bro. Us as addicts, man, without fucking making myself too high above, but we are different. I'm a different type of breed, bro, because I didn't live like two different lifestyles in one lifetime. So a motherfucker like battle addiction on a daily and maintain a discipline, or pulls up out of some shit. Kudos to you, congratulations, flowers to you. Once you've been in that and came out of that, and you still got all your facets in order, and you can, you know, that's not to be easily brush over. But at the same time, you can't expect the society to understand that.
Right. No, and I don't, because like people see me and a lot of times I'll be like, yo, this dude like has clearly been on one, or they'll think I'm still fucked up just because I've damaged myself to the point where it's permanently altered my DNA strands. Right. But if they saw me in active addiction, they'd be like, oh my God, he's completely transformed. That's why people that are close to me are really proud of what's become of my life and what I've done with it, because it could be significantly worse. From like, you've seen me when I was fucked up, you know what I mean? Like you saw me. I did that show at the damn the skate park.
The outside show. I remember that.
Weaked out my motherfucking face, fool. Like literally on meth.
Yeah.
Rapping, thought I was Jay-Z.
I used to rap all night and shit.
You feel me? Like I thought all that. I was rapping with a chest cold, still thought I was nice. Like, yeah. You a sick MC, all right. But,
yeah.
That's
change your clothes, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
With that being said, how do you, still being active in the graffiti world, still being an active MC, how do you, like, is it difficult? Because, you know, I have my own struggles in this, to navigate this world where everybody around us is fucked up. We're the only people that aren't.
Nah, also, when I came into recovery and getting clean, it was like a world rocking shit, like jail, so everything was zoned out for a minute, and it was just me on that path.
Right.
And I don't forget it. You cannot forget it. For me, you know, and then, you know, you have these meetings where you go to where people don't know you're a writer. People don't know I'm an MC. They just know I'm an addict.
Right.
So everybody's on an equal accord and shit. You feel me? So that's the good thing about meetings is like an atmosphere of recovery. And then that's where we get together and tell our stories and tell our problems and bounce some shit off another addict. And that's also the place where a motherfucker can grow and judge people and think he's better. And all. It's just an atmosphere where you can make your mistakes and this and that's the importance of meetings. But
there's a lot of bitches there too.
oh my God. Yeah, go get some coffee afterwards and shit.
Bitches with problems,
and then you fall in love with them, and then you be back out your mind again. And then, I see motherfuckers get married. I just, hey man, come on. But so outside of the rooms, it's like this subculture has been with me before the active addiction and shit. So I have a strong love, and that's home as well. But I just know how to kind of differentiate the two. I don't go around telling people, I'm clean, man. You should stop, man. You should, they just see it, and it's only by attraction, not promotion. So a motherfucker asks, like, man, didn't you go in the program? I'm like, oh, well, I did this, blah, blah, blah. And the more they keep asking, then I feed it back. But you should never go around promoting that shit because it shows in the walk rather than the talk. People will notice certain things and gravitate to you. That's when you start speaking in their spirit, and you cannot expect them to pick it up and have the same experience that you have. You got to always be mindful. I'm a fucking addict, and some of those thought patterns and processes are still there. I can judge a motherfucker quick. I can tell the next motherfucker what's his problem real quick. But how's my fucking living room looking?
Right.
You know what I mean? You get to using this shit, using it recklessly, it could corrupt you. You understand? You start getting this false sense of pride about yourself and a God complex, grandiose thinking. It goes deep.
It gets very, very deep. Yeah. So like you said, the hip hop, writing, and all that's really your first love. That's really your culture.
That's my first love. If anything, my experience with getting clean added to the content in my pen. I have a different approach. I can kind of like get a keener conception and understanding of things, and it shows.
Let me ask you this, since I didn't ask earlier. What's a crazy tagging mission story?
We did a all-nighter in the Belmont yard in the 90s over in, you remember the Belmont yard?
Yeah.
Over in the Temple Street, Rockwood, all that. We camped out there for a whole night.
Right above Pico Union type shit.
Right. That's one. My first time trying to ride a grill, we used to try to ride on the back of the grills of the bus. When I fell off the grill and was rolling like a motherfucking stunt man and sprained my wrist and had to lie to my moms what happened.
Crazy.
So you're running up on the bus.
Ran and hopped on the grill of it to ride it to the back of the bus, outside the bus. Mm-hmm. Riding the bus outside of it.
Hey, back then it was the RTD, wasn't it?
Right.
That's right.
The RTD.
How'd you fall?
By jumping off, getting scared when it started picking up, when the bus started like, I was like, oh shit. Jumped off and didn't run with it. Just
gotta hit the ground running.
Yeah, hit the ground running. Yeah, so, fell and rolled like a damn stunt man. Motherfuckers laughing at me and shit. That's one. I mean, I got a lot of different graffiti stories, man. I remember I was in the county one time. Shout out to the homie Taxer from NTS, the homie Josh. And we were in a dorm. I ran into that fool. It's the old county. It's like one of them floors up in there. It was a big dorm and shit. And he was up in there, and he's a kind of reputable from NTS. So another little like young resident. I don't even think he was Southside. He was like a resident, and he was from NTS. And the homie Taxer had let him sit on his bed. Right, so no one laced the other youngster. The double S car hadn't laced him like that because he's like, he would know, that graffiti, that's all cool, but niggas program time now.
Right.
Get with your car, or you can go to the back and learn the hard way. So Taxer let the youngster sit on his bed, and the blacks they packed out him, packed out Taxer. Nah, we don't get down like that in our car.
Right.
Even if they regulate they people, that's they shit. Our car is strictly our car, and we don't beat each other up for doing some shit with another race. You understand? So they regulated the homie. When I got to the dorm, I got called the trustee or some shit. It got shipped around another dorm in the county. Next time I seen, we caught the chain in Wayside together. Well, we caught the bus to Wayside together. He lumped up. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Oh man, I know one of my little homies from NTS fucking was kicking it, and we, sitting there writing on shit, and I let him sit on my bed, and the blacks jumped me. I'm like, man, we don't get down like that in our car. Hold up, man. By the time we got to Wayside, we went to the same dorm, and the blacks in Wayside had already heard about it and had a big-ass bag of store for him.
Okay.
But it's a trip how shit travels.
Yeah. It defies logic sometimes.
Yeah. How they know that shit happened?
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, sorry, black, we don't do that in our car. They was wrong for that. But the program is the program, you know what I'm saying? But we don't get down like, here's some store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some crazy shit. Now, for those that don't know, this shirt right here is designed by my guy Stro. Break it down. Like, what's this shirt right here?
Okay,
I mean, obviously we got Nip. It's a Crenshaw.
Definitely, anything out of Crenshaw District, that's home and shit. And so along with my string of Nipsey murals that I've been painting, like I say, rest in peace to Nip. I grew up with a lot of his older homies and shit. So the fact that he was out the soil, I was already before I even fucked with the music, So it kind of resonates with me how he was moving and stuff. So I started doing stuff themed off of him. So with the shirt, usually for the letter O in my name, being that that's the simplest letter, I usually use some imagery for the letter O.
Yeah.
So then, it's done digitally, and then you got the fills of the letters or the map of the area. You got the marathon on there, Nip on there, all that's drawn from scratch.
You got the swap meet, you got the damn
Slauson.
Yeah. My happy place in life.
That's just hard.
Awesome swap meet. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, so those shirts, man, people been on them. I gave one to Cowboy out of respect and shit. It's like, I'm gonna get one to the other homie, Tylo, Tiny Amp, shout out, Crenshaw by Nature. Yeah.
What are your thoughts as far as, we had all this discussion about gangbang politics and all that, especially even conversations that we had earlier today, like about how, are there people that because of where they came up and all that, like, are you that you can't be around, or do you kind of like, if there's someone that's from a enemy crew or like from a section that's in opposition from where you from, and they were like, yo, I need help with getting sober, would you still help them?
Fuck yeah, man. Addiction is very real, bro. And it don't care where you from, what your race is, what any of that shit is. It's snatching bodies out this motherfucker. Fentanyl, it's a kicking ass.
Yeah.
So for somebody to experience getting clean and being in the room of recovery, and your gang politics overrides that's saying something about your spirit. Like, it didn't really resonate with you. You understand? This is bigger than that. This is a program that has worked for countless other years and years. And when you are an addict, you gain a respect for the disease of addiction. Right? So another addict is your strongest adversary. So you've grown so much in this process. For somebody to ask you what I did to get clean, and for me to be like, nah, that's because you grew up in over there. Nah. What?
Yeah.
I'm a denied God. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mature mentality.
That'd be weird.
What about you, Rick? Could you, if there's someone that's from a section that's enemies from where you're from, would you, but they're like, you're both past it or whatever, he's not still actively pushing lines, not dissing your hood, would you provide him with an opportunity? Would you give him a podcast?
All day. Because, it's about growth and maturity. You know what I'm saying? And like, if you expect to succeed, you have to be able to, like, look, man, let the youngsters do what they're doing now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did your thing, you went to prison, or you didn't go to prison. you became successful. Either way, you already like put into that. So now these youngsters are looking up to you like an OG. You know what I'm saying? And so for the sake of like, now that I'm older and like I lost my pops, you know, a couple days ago, I try to look at it like that's somebody's dad.
Right.
That's somebody's son, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's uncle, that's somebody's nephew. You get what I'm saying? And it could have been my dad when I didn't have time to be around. And my dad in a wheelchair and somebody pushing my dad across the street or something like that.
Right.
Or my dad asking somebody for help. And so if you come to me for help, on some genuine mankind help, I'm going to do my best, right? I'm not perfect, but I'll tell you what worked for me. And I'll help and guide you. You know what I'm saying? I'll watch to see if you're wasting my time, but I know from my past experiences what it is when someone has to dig deep down inside their pride to even come and ask you for help being from the other side. You understand what I'm saying? And so for that purpose alone, I respect the man who can do that. Yes, I will help somebody.
That's some G shit. I fuck with that heavy. I low-key want to keep this pod going. What I want to do is take some calls from people and let's chop it up with the people. But I gotta connect my phone to the thing over there and maybe
we don't have headsets to hear.
Well, no, we do. You ain't got headphones?
Nah, we balling on a budget, my boy.
No,
we got headphones for you. Yeah, we got headphones for you. I'm gonna put my number in the chat, and I'm gonna have Ralph over there answer.
Before we go on, let me shout out West Coast Creations, Mr. CR, the whole Project Blow, Camp, Good Life, LA Cool, Rifleman, Micah 9, AC Loan, Self Jupiter, Peace,
Abby Rizzle,
Ab Rude, all my community, West Coast
Creations,
2Max, AWOL, Gale Rock, everybody.
Cholo on Cinco, Yeah, there's a lot of, man, shouts to the whole damn Blowed. Quit fucking playing. My dog, Peace. Man, I had some crazy battles with Peace back in the day.
Yeah.
All right, I can hear you. Also, if you're in the chat and watching, give a shout out to the Dude Brand Clothing Co. Look for a special limited edition coming, Lush World limited edition. Numbered clothing, sweaters and shirts and different types of things. Man, look forward to that.
That's cool. What's it called coming in? Look for a special limited. Oh shit! This really good plug in. What's good, Lush?
You live on Lush World? What's cracking with you?
Hey, not a whole lot. I just want to say I like what you're doing right now with the whole mental health project and whatnot.
Appreciate that. You over there in 650? You in the South Bay?
Basically out of PA and whatnot. But
okay,
beyond all that, I just really wanted. Palo Alto.
Yeah, I got homies in EPA and all that, Menlo Park. Shouts to y'all. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. No, I just really like the fact that you guys are giving a platform to really not a bunch of bullshit that's just making people dumber and whatnot. Actually talking about like some real shit that's really going on in people's lives.
That's what we're here for, especially on a Friday night. We know sometimes temptation might be running amok. We like to turn up and have fun too, but there's people that might need some conversations. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're in the recovery thing and whatnot, Friday nights are the worst nights for a lot of people. It's people, places, and things and whatnot, and also just what you're surrounded with in your environment and whatnot.
You are not lying, sir. Well, hope you enjoy your evening. You feel me? Stay tuned in.
Yeah. You guys take some more calls. I just want to say thanks for letting me plug in. I'm going to get back to the live. You guys have a good one.
All right, do the damn thing. And join the damn Discord.
That's right.
We're going to post a link. What else we got?
All right.
My phone's about to die. My phone is about to die. Did another call come in or what?
No, I'll plug it in and then I'll charge it. Here comes another call from Marion, Indiana.
Yeah, take that. What's going on, Indiana? You live on Lush World.
Hey, what up with it, bro?
What's happening with you?
Hey, just keep doing you, bro. Hey, don't worry about what everybody else say. You know what I mean? I feel like enough people in the rap community to where you can make your own, you know what I mean, your own plateau. You know what I mean? You can do your own thing.
That's what we do. We gonna push the line, bro, every single time. You feel me?
That's right.
Over here, partnered with some good people. We like that's who I'm rocking with. That's how we coming.
Yeah, they kind of. I feel like CMAC was acting a little salty. You know what I mean? I don't know why, bro. I think deep down he probably just doesn't like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, hey, just keep doing you, because hey, I fuck with you, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like you know a lot of. Like, you just know a lot of shit on different levels. You know what I mean? You know every type of genre. You know, the South, North, East, West. You know what I mean?
I'm really on some hip hop shit. And look, bro, I ain't give nobody like that no reason to not like me, but that's their prerogative if that's the case. And honestly, I really don't give a fuck. I'm going to keep doing me. It's love on my end. I'm not trying to be burdened with the resentment towards nobody. If people fuck with me, they going to show it and exhibit it with their actions. And if they don't, that's going to be shown as well. You feel me?
Hey, yeah, and I noticed too, T-Row was saying, like, hey, he fuck with you, but then and there, you know what I mean, Smack kind of cut him off, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like, all love, like, T-Rail was being cool, and, I don't really think that Smack even saw the clip, because I think if he did, he would have a very different interpretation. A lot of people, that's something that I learned.
You're right.
When people hit me up, I don't make a reaction off rip until I actually watch a clip. People be like, oh, this motherfucker going in on you, this person saying this or that. And I'm gonna need to see the clip before I make that you want
to make the judgment.
Yeah,
you don't want to let them make the judgment for you.
Right. So you feel me?
Yep.
That's what it is.
I understand where you coming from, Lush. Hey, I fuck with you, bro. Trust me. I feel like you a real hip hop head. You know what I mean? You know a lot of shit that motherfuckers don't. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you, big dog.
Like, regardless of race and all that shit. You know what I mean? You just the type of motherfucker, you live and die with that shit. You know what I mean? You fuck with rap.
Oh yeah, that's in my DNA strands. I can't.
Yeah.
It ain't on me and in me. I can't get that shit out of me if I wanted to. Fuck that. You feel me? Like I'm here. If I'm a guest in the culture, I'm a distinguished motherfucking guest that done set up shop and I built my own fort in the living room. I'm here. You feel me? So
hey. And you an inspiration to me too, bro, because I've had sobriety problems, bro. Like, trust me, I done been through there with a lot of different drugs. You know what I mean? The only drug I didn't get going was like heroin. But fucking other than that, I done been there with all the different types of drugs. And nowadays, you know what I mean? I work, take care of my kids and shit. Like, it's hard to
respect you.
Stay sober. Motherfuckers don't know how that shit is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
1,000. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the real ones rocking with me, because I'm going to let you know, ain't nobody bullying nobody in this motherfucker. It ain't going down like that. It ain't going in that way. We pushing the line, period.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you letting me call in, though, man. Have a good one, bro.
Every time.
I'm going to tune in.
Yeah, please do. And if you're not already, join that Discord. You feel me? My boy Neverlack just posted the link. We got a fire-ass community.
Shout out to Neverlack, man.
Yeah.
Real
yeah,
one.
Hey, you know me. I was wondering how you rap on the beats. J-Tron, I'm about to get on that Discord. I'm about to get in there and drop some more beats.
Go crazy, Pin.
I think there's a room for your...
I just made a beat today.
Right? There's a room. Right. There's a room for people who want to be heard.
Yeah. There's a room for MCs, producers, all that. Yep. So, yeah, we going up. Battle rappers.
Yep. I'll be in there, bro.
All right, Playboy, be smooth.
Yep.
Did someone else try to call? I think we're gonna.
Yeah, it was a missed call. You want to call it back?
Yeah, call the missed call back.
Oh shit! Is it my phone ringing?
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Baton Rouge, what's cracking with you?
Hello. Did I get through?
What's going on?
Hey, man, just wanted to say congrats on getting the CMAC interview. You're doing good stuff. And fuck the haters.
Come on, bro. We up in the score. Appreciate you.
I'm up in Pennsylvania. What up?
Oh, you in PA? Okay, yeah. I spent a lot of time up there, so have a good night. Appreciate you, big dog.
Yeah, he hung up.
Okay. Yeah. That battery's just starving right now. But
yeah, I'll plug it in if you get any calls. I'll swap it.
Hey, y'all could plug them to my music, man.
You got
Monstro,
yeah. We'll
all
put
streaming platforms, man.
My boy's a dope ass MC. What I would like to do is I'll for sure encourage y'all to look into the homie's music and his graph and everything he does.
Got an album coming out called Manual Labor Part 2. Me and Mr. CR. It's produced by Broadway, executive produced by Easy Mo B. It's gonna be dropped.
That's crazy.
West Coast Creations Records.
How did you make that? A lot of people, I think Easy Mo B, he's in my top most underrated producers of all time. He's made some of the biggest, most important beats in hip hop history. I mean, this dude used to produce for Biggie and like
Flavor in Your Ear beat.
He made the Flavor in Your Ear beat. Hands down, one of the greatest beats in hip hop history. He worked with the Licks, like all kinds of. So how did that happen?
That happened through our producer Broadway. Broadway is he was affiliated with a group way back called Madcap.
The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Motherfuckers don't talk to me about no hip hop shit. Act like I don't know. Madcap.
He produced for Dub C, Daz, for Pac, for a lot of shit. Broadway got his hand on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Look him up.
No, I'm familiar. I've definitely heard the name before. So he linked y'all with Easy Mo B.
Yeah, he played our album for him, and Mo was like, he snapped it. Like, oh, I'm with this.
What I fuck with about y'all music, and like, CR really pushed this specific line, and I feel like LA Cool was the first one in the blow that Trey Loke used to do it too, like with and there's a few, Trend used to do it too, with like the more street-oriented side of the Project Blowed shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's dope, like.
The homie Imperator too used to be on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to see it,
Green, rest in peace.
Mean Green, Ganja K, rest in peace. Like he's really to me the first one, low key. Like if I trace the lineage, I feel like.
Well, they say the Chronic concept came from him.
From Ganja K, the original Chronic, and I got a sticker promoting the original Chronic album when I was a legit. So yeah, shouts to that. But it's dope. Did you feel like kind of confined to the Blowed like abstract style, and it was kind of hard to break out and get a little more grimy with it?
Actually, like we were loosely affiliated with the Blowed because we were not on that style back then. So like with me, no disrespect to the Blowed, if you was there, it's just love just for you being there. I spent my 20s and 30s with around these cats when I was on the streets. But the thing, I kind of felt the type of way about the Blowed at the beginning because this is Leimert Park first.
Yeah.
From the porch.
Yeah.
And they came and they was like, oh yeah, Leimert Park probably. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? And the Blow would go on. I'd be like, man, I'm at the park Thursday night, Wednesday morning, Sunday morning, like y'all, so they would real like cliquish about it.
Yeah.
And so we kind of was like, we on our own shit. Rehab don't help, JOR. Back then, you know what I mean? So, but it's love to all of them. But I've always been on my style.
That's dope. The chat's been killing us all night with comparisons, but they just leaned me with they said, what's Soulja Slim doing on the couch right now?
You got a call from LA, Lush.
Yeah, all right, let's take it.
What he looked like. Like, okay, that's cool.
I love me some Soulja Slim, the RIP to the legend. What's up with it?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Christian from Redlands, man.
That's right.
Hey, I'm hearing you guys talk about like deep hip hop, and that a lot of like Wu-Tang, all that talk about metaphysics, man. What's like your favorite books on like metaphysics type stuff?
There's a Terrence McKenna, Food for the Gods. Have you ever read that before? That's a good one. I'm really into Eastern philosophy and like chop wood, carry water. Ralph Waldo.
My favorite artist is Donald Goins. My favorite author is Donald Goins, bro.
Yeah, gangster shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I fucked with all that.
A lot of that shit's not talked about. Like, you get deep into it, there's real metaphysical shit going on and deeper, like, dimensional stuff. And real hip-hop is, like, it's been grounded in that type of shit, and I respect that type of shit.
That's a fact, and especially like that was a lot of the stuff that really gripped me. Growing up, I thought that Wu-Tang was as deep as it got at first until I got into like Freestyle Fellowship and heard like really what super turned me out was the AC Alone All Balls Don't Bounce album. And when that came out,
Alive, like MF Doom.
It got, I mean, then so many people took it in different directions for show. Yeah, Doom is like a religion to me. Like,
I'm a big Doom fan. I fan out over Doom.
Nice talking to you guys, dude. Good
all right, bro.
For sure. And of course, not to be cliche, but that book, The Alchemist, is always a good one. Talk about metaphysicality. But yeah, appreciate
the thing about MF Doom is he'll say a lot in a clever line. Mm-hmm. Like he's got them old school sayings and shit, and then his style is like people have a hard time. It goes over their heads, but if you have a keen ear, you'll see the brilliance in that shit.
Not for real.
His style, I'll still be looking at some of his patterns like, damn.
This fool said, "Listen here, Scooter. Don't let her bag you when she's on the rag. Never let her fry the rag."
Looky here, it's just the way the cookie tear.
Yeah, yeah, fool.
Fool, stupid, dude.
Doom that.
Rest in peace, man.
Doom that guy.
Yeah.
I got to see. I got to see a show. I think it was 2004. It was a J-Lib Mad Villain show. So I saw. I'm getting the chills thinking about it. I saw Madlib, J Dilla, and MF Doom all perform together.
Where was that at?
In Frisco.
Okay.
It was in Frisco.
I went to one out here at the old El Rey when he used to be over there on Wilshire and shit.
Yeah.
But then the rumors started happening of him just sending other people in a mask and it don't be him.
Right. Yeah. To me, like the Doom Posture saga, I personally fucking love him for that. Like
that's villain. He's the villain.
He's the villain.
His whole affect. There was a lot of thought put into that shit, man. And he just brilliant. Like first he was, Zev Love X, KMD. He experienced the industry, a life altering situation happened.
R.I.P. Sub Rock.
R.I.P. Sub Rock went underground, came back. Just the villain. Anybody, like, you don't need to see my face. Listen to the music. Doom was on some shit, bro.
And to give people a little bit of context that might not know what we're talking about. So MF Doom, he's obviously, a lot of people didn't know what he looked like unless you were like a KMD fan back in the day, because he always had his mask on. So at a certain point in his career, he stopped even going to his shows, and he would send other people wearing masks. He had Mos Def do it, I think, one time in Chicago. Yeah. So it wouldn't even be him performing. But he warned us all from the jump. It was a super villain. Like, I'm damn near, people were getting mad, going crazy, demanding refunds, threatening his life, getting all pissed off.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That shit is so dope, man.
All caps when you spell the man's name. But me, I was like, damn, like every time I saw Doom live, I saw him like 2 or 3 times. He killed every show, and it was really him. And I was as awesome as that was, I'm damn near disappointed I didn't get fucking finessed by MF Doom.
Yeah.
It would have been kind of dope to have the Doom posture, like,
Yeah. A lot went into his persona, man. It's deep.
And as horrible as losing him was, $28 for my boy What's the Dirt, just popping by to show love. Keep going, Lush and crew. I'll be copping some merch. You already know we got the merch on the way. Play boy off Tidnot. Right. Now that's as far as Doom. As horrible as his death was, the silver lining is this young generation, they know what's up with Doom. Like, kids still fuck with Doom. Like, my homies' kids and nephews and 13-year-old kids are jamming.
Doom, I've seen Doom bust a piece before.
Hell yeah.
Seen that video of him?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Doom was, man.
Doom was across the board.
Rest in peace.
So I'll just say the phone number. You can actually type it in the damn chat. So we'll take a couple more calls because feeling the vibe.
Feeling the vibe.
Shoot that number, Lush.
213
213
706
706
1092.
1092.
Hit us up to talk about whatever, anything y'all want. We here, recovery, hip hop, anything. Yeah, RP, gifted, unlimited rhymes, universal. You already know.
There it is. Let's talk.
We here, run it up. How many viewers we got right now? I know it's late. I know there's a lot of things y'all could be doing.
Nah, we've been steady at 250 plus. So
okay, shit.
Well, while we got them, like to take a moment. The channel Lush World has a new Instagram, and it's lushworld_show.
Yeah.
You guys go ahead and tap in. You know, it's an interacting channel, IG page. You know, Lush will be in there talking to you guys, and
yeah, the whole game, baby.
Yeah,
that's right.
Canada on the line.
Canada, what's cracking?
Yo, it's your boy. What's the dirt? What's going on?
What's happening with you? What's the dirt?
What's the dirt?
Okay.
Same old.
What's the dirt?
Yo,
Is a good.
I only got one question for you, bro.
Yes.
When you were on No Jumper, you didn't seem very happy at the end of it. You know, you mentioned if your old girl got back to you, you would drop everything and leave. All right, you know what I mean? You said that you would leave it all.
Yes, I
Jumper
said
and
that.
go back to her.
I did.
Now your situation has changed. You look like you're doing a lot better. Is that the same case, or am I putting you on blast right now?
No, it's I still that would still be a difficult decision. Like, so basically, what you're asking is if my ex was like, leave Lush World and we can get back together.
You're doing pretty good.
I don't think. I got to be honest with you. I don't think she would do that. She thought that No Jumper was a toxic environment for me. She didn't fuck with No Jumper, and just the way it was, and just the toxicity of the fan base. She has no problem with this. We were doing really well. I pissed her off again, so we kind of, you feel me, going through a little thing right now. But nah, like I don't think it would even be an issue. That's where I would need to. But yeah, she hasn't experienced honey pack Lush yet, so you feel me? Like maybe all I need.
Coming back for the honey. We need the poo.
I just need to hit her
back our money back.
I just need, you feel me? I just need to hit her with the honey pack.
That's all I got, buddy.
But wait. Just what's the dirt? I fucks with you. There's a lot of controversy on the Lush Discord earlier, bro.
Yeah.
There was there's a back and forth, but I know you a good dude. But do you want to talk about you have a video and all that? Like, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. I'm just trying to hear what you're saying right now because I can't really hear it from my phone.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to tune in on my computer to hear what you're saying. No, I'm down to talk about it for sure.
Okay. Well, if you can you hear better now or?
Yeah, this is a good time. Hold on now. Let me just. I need to hear what you're saying, though, right?
My boy Neverlack is pissed right now. My boy Neverlack wants to fade, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, we had some pretty interesting conversations.
Hey, but shouts to my boy. Neverlack's my man's, just so you know. But
so I'm going to break down what happened from my perspective. So,
Lush World drama.
First off, I'm going to preface by saying that I've been fucking with Lush for a long time, support them for a long time. I'm always showing love in the donations. I'm never going to take any shots at Lush. So let's just get that out of the way. However, I can be objective. Objectivity is a good thing. So when Lush is pushing mental health and like he's doing right now, I love that shit. But to me, it doesn't really align with his platform very well by having CRIPMAC on there. And CRIPMAC is admittedly not mentally well. He's unmedicated.
You are a cluster, you find me?
He's on medicated for a very serious mental illness, right?
Yeah.
Schizophrenia is no fucking joke. He's drinking, he's smoking, he's not in the right frame of mind when he's doing that. And he's admitted that he's seeing hallucinations, he's hearing voices, shit like that. Like it's no fucking joke, right? So to me, when I see him on there and where he's just fresh out the pin, like I don't see how what he's doing is productive to himself, right? And when I see who's around them, I don't see them really. I see them more or less edging them on, like
enabling,
no custer shit. You should be out fighting, and I get it. He's from gang culture, and he's obviously tied into those politics. But at the end of the day, I think this guy has the potential to do a lot with his life right now. And I'd hate to see him just go down this wrong path, and I feel like he needs a little bit more guidance. But that's basically what my video was about. Now, there's a few people in the Discord who didn't agree with my take. One of the things that I had to say was exactly that I didn't think that this was aligning well with Lush's platform. So that's more or less what I said. Now, I don't know if you guys disagree or agree with me. The video is only 6 minutes long. I just kind of wrapped it up for you in a nutshell, basically saying that if this guy continues doing what he's doing, he's going to end up right back to where he's at. Now, right, he's a big part of your last podcast was talking about his stint, his scuffles in jail and shit like that, right? But how often can you, he can go on a few more platforms and tell those same stories, but eventually, like, what's next? You know what I mean? And his whole persona is based around drama, and you got people who are just going to keep feeding into that. So, to me, it's not going to go anywhere good for them if they just got a bunch of enablers around them. And that's kind of what my video is about. Now, you guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Okay, I would like to get my my co-hosts' opinions, Rick and Stro. What y'all think?
I think I'd like to see CMAC do something, more positive, because people look up to him. And so when you're given that skill or that power,
he gives 5 the homeless,
or that, he feeds the homeless. You know what I'm saying? And I think, look, man, like, if it's his culture, it's his culture. But it's also that, there could be positivity based on the people he surrounds himself with. And like us here in the studio, he's welcome to come here and come around us if this is what he's ready for. But if he's not ready for this, or this isn't what he wants, I mean, neither one of us in here can put him in a chokehold and bring him over here and make him change. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, we got, you got to interview him and ask him some questions, and then, now people get to see what his, state of mind is. Then, if he wants to come back here, the help is here for him.
Yeah, I just accept him for how he is, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Where my angle's at with it, is he actually in the right frame of mind to really be making these type of decisions that is detrimental to his life?
Is that Neverland trying to call?
You know what I mean? Like, he's admittedly, he's very open about having schizophrenia, and he's very open about the fact. What's even more sad, in my opinion, is he won't take the medication because it makes him drowsy. And he can't be, where he's from, he can't be drowsy, which is even more.
Telling you,
it's pretty fucking.
That's why I stopped.
Sad, right?
That's why I stopped taking psych meds that I was on. It was making me drowsy. Right. So I understand. One thing though, like Rick, let me ask you this: you spent time around Mama Bear, CMAC's mother.
Correct. You
spent time around Lady CMAC, Lily Kicks.
Correct.
You know Lupe very well. These are like 3 of the closest people to him, right?
Right.
What are your assessment of them and how they are in relation to CMAC?
I met Lupe, in the beginning of the pop-up series here, like, a while back, 8 months ago. Only thing I've known about Lupe is that she's a loyal person, man. Like, she's a diehard for the brand, you know what I mean? And, like, when she loves hard. And so every time she was up in here, she kept CMAC's name in conversations. She kept people like, hey, I'm going to send CMAC some money on Cash App. Anybody want to chip in and send it, let's go, And like, she made sure his books, like, whatever she was doing on her part, she made sure to get him his issue. And me having done time, not having a writer like that to help, it makes things a little bit harder. And so that's when you take, your money more serious inside, at least for me. And, if I had a homegirl like Lupe, man, like, we had to pay for our calls, so I would have been loving that. And, she's a very supportive person. Mama Bear and, his lady, I had the honor to meet them. And, they're good people.
They are good people.
I got to know them that night, and I met Mama Bear one time here in the studio before. And, they're very vibey. They're very positive, and she wants the best for her son. You know what I'm saying? And the way he spoke about his girl and her holding him down and stuff like that too, like, that's a support network right there. That's in hood terms, that's your sponsor. when you're going through recovery.
Right.
You're struggling. You got to be able to pick the phone up and call somebody. And I know one thing, man. Lupe will answer the phone anytime you call her.
What you got to say to that, bro? Dirt.
Yo. Yeah, no, the way I see it is this guy, he's got a lot of potential, you know what I mean? I think that I could see him doing voiceover work. I could see him being in video games. I could see him doing some acting. I could see a lot of things for that guy, right? If he's pointed in the right direction. But right now, I don't see that direction going in a good place. I'm telling you, like, with these podcast visits, because after a while, even though he is this polarizing character, and, you know, we do love the character that he is, he can't survive just alone off that character. He's going to need to have something feeding it, and it's probably more than likely going to be beef or you know, calling out other gangs or whatever. But I don't see it going in a good direction. That's my view. And, you know, I wish nothing but the best for Crit Mac. I've seen a comment saying someone calling me racist. You couldn't be further from the fucking truth.
It just sounds funny. I don't know. It sounds funny.
Miss me with that bullshit.
Everybody's racist.
Look, you're I know that you have good intentions, and you did not make that video with the intention of trying to shit on the Lush World platform. I did watch it. However, I would just hope that you would know that we over here don't condone, like, we're trying to have genuine dialogue and a real human being combo with him, and I don't think anybody else would have done it in quite the same way we did. It was the least exploitive it could have possibly been, you know?
I have to tell you that, you know, before I ever met CMAC in person, you know, I've heard a lot of things, you know, the schizophrenic part and, you know, this and that. But, like, when I met him, I got to tell you something. I really thought, when I talked to him, I really thought that he's well-spoken. When he's speaking to you about something that he means from his heart, it comes out natural for him. And, you know, some people, like, with the voiceovers and stuff like that, you know, I don't know if people really think that, like, he's up here acting. That's him. He's charismatic. You know what I'm saying? You just can't help. I watched the interview live, and I was sitting here, you know, laughing, like, he's just got that character you can't dislike. You know what I mean? If you're not on no politics shit, you know, if you're just on, like, some entertainment, he's entertaining. And I don't think he tries to be entertaining. I think he just does him, and there's cameras on him. And so he, you know, certain people are entertained by it.
1,000%. With that being said, Dirt, we do appreciate the support. You are definitely still a constituent of Lush World. We're going to keep it pushing. Hope you enjoy the rest of your night out there in newfound land. You feel me? My newfie brother. Keep
Yo,
pushing the
one
line.
last thing. I do want to applaud you for, you know, taking these calls and stuff. I haven't seen too many people do this on our live podcast, and the fact that you're willing to let people call in to reach out is pretty fucking dope, man. It's definitely gonna make a difference for a lot of people, so keep it up.
We gonna keep it pushing. Appreciate you. We gonna always take calls on Lush World. That's how we do. This is like, it's not just me. Lush World is for all of us. So you feel me? Y'all, you know, we all constituents. Appreciate you, dog. We gonna call back a few of the calls that just came in, and I want to hit up Neverlack as well. But
Sacramento.
All right, take Sacktown then. Sacktown in the building, from Oakland to Sacktown, the Bay Area, and back down. Cali's where I put my Mac down. Give me love. What's up?
What's happening, man? Yeah, you already know, huh? I'm in the Bay right now, though. You feel me? Michigan in the building, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Grand Rapids. I'm out here in the Bay. Shout out to, you know what I'm saying, California and the Midwest and all the way through the United States, because we doing it up.
For sure.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
Michigan is our cousins. Like, we
are cousins, man. I be telling that to them out here in the Bay all the time. I'm in San Francisco, bro. I be saying that all the time, bro. We family like that for real. Hey, but check it out, Lush. I got one thing for you.
What's happening?
If you slide, you better slide with the shit. If not, you better not slide at all to get tipped. You see what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Get that rapping going. Come on. Let's go, man.
Tee up on them. Tee up on them.
We really wait on them bars. Folks waiting on them bars. Folks waiting on the track. Folks waiting on them bars. Folks waiting on a video, man. Come on.
We gonna clobber them upside the head with all that shit. Guaranteed.
Okay. Okay, much anticipated.
On great grandcitas.
Hey, shout out to you and my guy up here, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all doing it up. I appreciate y'all part because y'all really spitting some real things that like people can talk about the news and what happened all the time, but y'all going on it's freestyle when you talking about your real feelings and emotions because this addiction, like I was saying in the Discord, you know, addiction goes further than drugs and you know what I'm saying? You got alcohol, you got different things. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, shit, you can get addicted off behaviors.
You can get addicted to the game too much. You can be addicted to anything. You see what I'm saying? So addiction it's real, and you know, the bigger thing is to understand like when you wake up every day to make it easy. You wake up every day, then you know you always beating that addiction every day, no matter what. Unless unless you really getting beat down. Like when you wake up and you stepping through it. You see what I'm saying? That's the bigger thing, you know what I mean? It's stepping through it like a Euro. You know, we Euro through these things. You know?
Euro stepping.
No, for real. Euro stepping, you know, for real. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the key to life. I got 4 kids, I got a wife, I love them, and you know what I mean? We do it up. And, you know, the key to even like sustaining the marriage and with everything that's going on, it's Euro stepping, it's jump stack, you know what I'm saying? It's up sticking on them when you playing Madden through that hole when you know you like, oh, hold on, I did a run play through the middle and everybody there up. Let me just up stick. It's gonna be what it is, like you know what I'm saying?
You gonna catch them,
pretty much, you know what I mean? Right. And I just wanted to let y'all know, you know, that we appreciate you, Lush. You know what I'm saying? I've been following you. You know, people can have their critics and everything about you. When I first saw you, I was like, okay, I would definitely give him a chance. Like he knows what he knows and he's good. You know, you did get the stunner, but I love it. I think that was great. I think that was great. You got to rock bottom somebody next to you. You got to hit the people's elbow to somebody. You got to tombstone somebody next. Like, nah, I'm bullying. No, but that was great. I think because it was like, you don't see that. You've never seen that. It's like, you could think of it as negative, whatever, but it really was like, man, that will always be one of the best things, no matter what age you on, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he got mad, and this how you know it was real. You was gassing him out, so he had to hit you with the stutter, man. Look, shout out to folks too. Y'all was doing your thing. I'm fucking around. But that was funny to me, bro. I appreciate y'all even having me on here, man. I ain't gonna take too much of y'all time. I had to run for my kids, bro. They was up in there running amok, bro. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Hey, well, keep
it party, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing it up like this, man. And we're gonna talk. I'm Papa E, by the way, man.
Okay,
Papa
that's right,
E, man.
That's right.
Shout out.
Right.
Yeah, Papa E in the building, man. I got more than 4, but I only got 4 of mine. But I got more. I got all these kids running around, so that's why I'm Papa E. I do, man. It's like it's really like woo.
My dog,
eight. Easy 8.
My dog, Big E Skrilla out here, got more kids than Ray J. You feel me? He raising generations.
But you know what? I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna sing on the stage like he, because I'm a dancer anyway. So I really gonna gig on Smack later on, because he think he could. I'm gonna glide on him. That's my dog. I'm gonna glide on him later on. But Ray J, I'm gonna glide on dude. I don't do the sing like that. But if I was holding my son or my daughter, if I was holding my daughter, see, he should have held his daughter. He would have sang better. You know what I'm saying? He would have really. I'm just playing, bro. I'm chilling this shit, man. I'm drinking that freaky water and I'm chilling watching y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. Hey, shout out to the chat. Shout out to y'all Discord. We gonna do it up, bro. I had to tap in. I said, man, you know what? I definitely gotta hop on Lush World. Come on. And I like your logo. That L Dub going crazy.
Appreciate you, man. It ain't Louis Vuitton. You feel me? It's Lush in the world, bitch. Come on, man.
Hey, but real quick, man, in the chat.
What's up?
It's Friday night. If you vibing with us, if you in the chat chilling with us, let us get the bots in. Get us the flame emojis. Get that shit jumping. Let us know you're doing us on this Friday night.
Man, we doing it up on Lush World. Hold on.
Stomp on that like button. Stomp them like buttons. All right, keep sprinkling game, player.
Shout out to Lush World. You already know. If mess around with him, he gonna take your girl, and that's for real. He gonna make it swirl, and that's trill.
That's true.
We out, y'all.
All right,
we out.
All right, gang. Yeah.
There goes the emojis. Let's go.
Yeah, that.
Let's go. Wake up, everybody.
I know we missed a couple calls. I think
Neverlack sent you a text, bro.
We got to call Neverlack.
Okay.
You gotta call Neverlack. Because I know, so Neverlack is the head mod. He's the head of the Discord. He do the thumbnails. He is a major. He's not even just a constituent. He a general in Lush World.
He's a team player. Huh?
Yeah. He one of them ones, and like, he was not feeling.
Oh yeah, he texted you a few times.
He's not feeling.
Your phone's locked, Lush.
Say he got
510. No, 515055.
One more time, a little slower.
515055.
55. Got it.
Yeah.
You said he got in the wreck with the dude from Canada, right?
Yeah.
That called earlier.
Yeah.
I'm calling Neverlack.
Yeah, Neverlack wasn't fucking with that. He's like, man, you ain't gonna do my boy Lush like that. What's up with y'all? Come on. Yeah, if y'all got super chats, slide them. If not, it's free to hit that like button.
What's up, my guy?
$5 from No Shame. What's up, No Shame? And
Shout out, No Shame.
Hey, Neverlack, what's cracking with you, boy? Hello?
Yo, what's up with it, bro?
What's cracking, homie?
Man, listen.
Go crazy.
You ain't even read my text messages. Man, what are y'all doing in there, man? Hey, salute to the chat. Hey, we gonna drop the semi trucks in the chat from now on for Big Rick. You feel me? We ain't about to just be dropping the cocaine bottom motors. We gotta drop the semi truck.
Much love.
You got an emoji, Monstro? Is there a Monstro emoji?
Nah, I ain't got
a Monstroji. The monster, the little beast emoji. You feel me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the deal, bro? Talk about this.
Bro.
Come on.
This is the thing, man. You know I had a whole different argument, and I'm not going to bring that argument to YouTube. If they want to hear that part, they can go on the Discord. That's way too messy. I ain't going to do that on here. But what my other part, my defense and my other part for CMAC is this. When you talk to him, when you in general conversation, that man is capable of holding his own conversation. He's not special needs. He just has a few. You feel what I'm saying? He like the way I look at it. If you want to exploit somebody, you're making fun or trying to pull something out of that ailment. Nobody is picking fun at him or trying to make any kind of situation arise out of CMAC.
Right.
They're asking him regular questions, getting regular answers from a regular interview. The only reason you damn near know he's dealing with something is because he told you.
He was open enough to be an open book about it.
Right. So that's the main reason you're going to even know he's dealing with something, because 9 times out of 10, it just seems like a very, very charismatic person, a very entertaining person. Yeah. And then it's a whole thing, like everybody want to say something about he was drinking or he was doing. First of all, if you was locked up for 10 months and you a grown-ass man, when you come home, what you gonna want to do? Everybody talking about he doing interviews, he rushing to. If you a rapper, you gonna go to the studio, ain't you? He going where his bag is at, so he and he going to where he getting love showed to, and he's going to make show. It's one thing when you go to a studio that's somewhere else, but he was going to where he felt comfortable, where his family was at, where people were saying, this is where we want you to go. So it made sense for him, for everybody who's saying, why is he there? Why is he? Because that's why. Now, for anybody who's saying the him wanting to have whatever he want to have to enjoy yourself, that's crazy. What you gonna tell this grown ass man? No, don't do whatever you want to do right now because we about to be like that. Do make sense? Yes, but if he says this is what I want to do, you gonna take it from him? No, he's not no baby. He's a grown ass man. Just because somebody dealing with something don't mean that you gotta act like they're a kid. He's not no kid. Period. And that's my other part about CMAC. But my other part that I was arguing, I'm gonna leave that in the Discord. That was too messy. Shout out to What's the Dirt though. You feel me? Shout out to Lush. Shout out to the Cocaine Boss of the Bob Mafia. Shout out to Rick. Shout out to Monstroe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna land my plane there, y'all. I'm back in the chat. I'm moderating. I'm gonna let the trolls troll. Y'all do your thing tonight.
My boy, go crazy. Right. We fuck with the trolls in Lush World. We love the trolls. Saeed, thank you for
we love them all.
For the 2 of them things, appreciate that. Now, I saw a comment that I want to address because as someone in recovery, someone said like, Lush, you need to hit the weights. It's going to do great things for you mentally, you know. But how vital is the physical aspect of recovery for you? Like being in shape and all that?
Being in shape is important, whether in any lane, because you know, you got to stay active. That adds to your confidence. That adds to your stature and shit. And, you know, having a good regimen, being disciplined in regards to physical, that's definitely needed for your vitality. You know what I'm saying? Whether you in recovery or not, You know, I've seen a lot of cats get clean, and now they vices the gym and shit. You know, me myself, I work out in jail. I get out, you know, start eating good shot of pussy and shit, and just like fall right off.
Is that relatable, Rick?
While I'm getting in there, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna start hitting the gym, taking what's that creatine? How that shit worked up.
24-hour fitness.
I'm in the gym.
Where's the 24-hour?
Do it for a month or some change and fall off.
24-hour buffet sounds fire. I ain't gonna lie.
That's what I'm saying, though. The homie called me like, yo, you want to go to 24-hour fitness, fool? Tell me where there's a 24-hour buffet, homie.
No, real talk. When I was in treatment this past time, we had like mandatory gym 5 days a week. And there was like a trainer that would work with us. And when I left, I was in the best shape of my life. Yeah. So June of 2020, when I had, 4 months sober and I first got out of treatment, I was literally like, I posted a pic on Instagram and people were like, damn, this fool, you have biceps? Where the fuck did that come from?
I have a question for both of you. You're both in recovery, right? You've been in recovery for a few years. You've been in recovery longer, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself like fighting the demons when you're counting the time that you've been sober?
Yeah. It could fool you into thinking the coast is clear. That's why you always have to keep your ego in check and just focus on getting through the day. Because just because I'm not using a mind mood altering substance, that doesn't mean my shit up here is not working. I still get vices.
Can you give me an example of like, where you feel like you're getting comfortable and you got to check yourself?
It shows in certain behaviors. Not that I'm trying to be perfect or something, but if things start speaking to certain behaviors that I came into this process to address, then I kind of see myself slipping off of my square a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I shouldn't have let that person have access to my buttons like that. I didn't handle myself well. I became unraveled in that situation right there. I need to go back and get back on my square and shit. You know what I'm saying? I judged him. I gave him advice based on my shit, thinking that it's gonna work for him. Just like how people doing CMAC. They ain't walking in that youngster's shoes.
Right.
How you a therapist all of a sudden? You know what I'm saying? So when I find myself minding other people's shit more than mine, then, gotta kind of get back on your square and shit. And these little things can lead to, it's always the little things that can lead to catastrophes and shit. Today it might be feeling like, I get over on lying to my girl, or, doing some shady shit, or some money I didn't tell him, he dropped his wallet or some shit. A month down the line, you fuck around and I can have a drink. Or, the disease of addiction is progressive.
Right.
You don't see it coming. So it start with like addressing the little shit at first.
Yeah, and that's why I have to hold myself accountable all the time.
How do you find yourself holding yourself accountable when you have like a bout with yourself?
The biggest, I'll be completely honest, and I don't think this is the healthiest thing, but the main thing that's kept me sober
is the Oasis.
The Oasis. No. What's kept me sober is the layer of accountability I have due to the fact that I've been inadvisably so transparent and public with what's gone on with me. And I think that the main reason I did that was because I felt like I'd been a negative influence on people for so many years. Like, I would have people hitting me up like, Lush, like, I remember one time, like, not only was my music so heavily about drugs and, drug induced, but just like the way I was and partying, everybody would be like, I'm gonna pop a pill in honor of Lush. I'm gonna do a line for Lush. It was all this. I'm influencing people. I remember one day somebody hit me up, and this was a long time ago. This is during MySpace still. Some kid hit me up. He's like, hey, Lush, I'm 15 years old, and I'm off 1.5 grams of Molly listening to your music right now. Like, you're my idol. And I'm like, oh, man, this is bad.
Damn, bro.
This is bad. And like, there's countless examples of shit like that. And I think in order to kind of counterbalance all the negativity, I have to kind of make a living amends to all those people that I harmed with this negative.
So you were once the problem and now you want to be the solution.
Well, I think that was why I came out the gate and was so vocal about it.
Right.
And when people saw that I was able to still have a lively personality, still do the things I was passionate about with music.
So I think it's safe to say now that you've been blessed this far, now you're accountable, and it's your duty to exhibit the fruits of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And no, that's 1,000% what it is, to the point where people are now like, oh, I'm getting sober because of you. And it's been thousands. Like, I can't count. Before No Jumper, there were thousands of people just from the battle rap shit hitting me up like, wow, like, you're my inspiration. I got sober because of you. Like, let's talk. Like, we talk about sobriety, or I'm feeling down, I want to hurt myself, and I'll talk to some random fan for hours. Like, I've always been that guy.
I got to give you credit because, you introduced me to Discord.
Yeah.
And the community that's there, bro, is like, even for a bunch of people who don't know each other personally, I hear the genuine kindness in certain people when they're talking, and they lean on each other for recovery and the support for one another, and to no names in particular, but I got to give a shout out to the Discord community, because I've heard them keep each other accountable. Right. And I've heard people talk different. How do you cope with this? And how do you cope with anxiety? When you have an anxiety attack. And it's like, I think having that doorway for people to talk about stuff like that gives them a little more comfort. And so if you are having an anxiety attack, you can pick up Discord and get on it. And just like that, you're forgetting that you're having an anxiety attack.
Okay. Now check this out. And this is why I wound up getting caught slipping on the Discord. Not in the Lush World Discord, because shit like that don't happen on our Discord, but in that other Discord I was in, I thought that I was way closer with a lot of those people. That's why I felt comfortable sharing certain information, which wound up, then it was like, oh, you're such an idiot for talking to these people that aren't even your friends. They don't know you. Of course they're gonna put you on blast. Like, you're so dumb. You're such a loudmouth.
Ended up getting.
But I have a question.
But like, exactly. But it's like, yo, I felt this genuine camaraderie and connection based on exactly what you're saying right now.
So let me ask you this though. Do you remember what you felt like when that happened to you?
When what?
Just that whole episode, that whole time zone of events that was happening.
What I felt like when I got fired from No Jumper?
That, the Discord, just that. Do you remember what you felt like when that happened?
Like, oftentimes with me, it's like when it rains, it pours. Right. And I'll feel, like I'm feeling like fear, I'm feeling anger, I'm feeling loneliness, like all these different emotions at once. And then it'll be like, oh, I'm feeling the shame from being fired and publicly humiliated.
But how do you feel today?
And then I feel, I still feel a lot of those same emotions for different reasons.
Right. But do you feel better?
It's better is not a feeling. So I know what you're asking, and I'm not trying to be like pseudo-intellectual by like responding like that.
The reason I'm asking is because when I find myself in dark situations, sometimes I feel like it's the worst situation ever. But then when you look back today to some of those dark situations that you had, you kind of laugh at it.
Yeah, no, like, look.
And the results, without you even expecting, are better than you ever expected.
Yeah, it's all about the bounce back. It ain't when you get knocked down, it's how you get up.
And that I believe
shit builds your integrity.
Yes, I believe that is the spirit, the higher power, the energy you're talking about.
Yes.
I believe that's that energy letting you know that you're strengthening up, When you ask for the strength to get through things and, for the wisdom to know things that, most people wouldn't, sometimes often the tests get put in front of us and we don't even realize that that's what's building our character.
Yeah.
1,000.
You can't see it from where you're sitting, but you needed that to happen. You don't know what's around the corner.
Look, and especially because I wound up getting hit with a bunch of real life shit that far superseded that afterwards. And that kind of reminded me, And it's kind of even this week, in the midst of a lot of success with the virality of the interview we did the other day, and just feeling a lot of validation of our efforts and monetary things kind of coming together in certain ways as a result of that, it's still a lot of things happened in my real life. Real life isn't the wrong word. Like my life outside of the podcasting space that wound up humbling me to the point it makes me realize, like, bruh, I've been through so much shit in life that all this other shit is petty. Like, and who gives a fuck who's saying what about me? Because I really like I felt so bad about who I am internally, and have gone through, like everything from being shot, stabbed, incarcerated, divorced, evicted, estranged from everybody I love, overdosed, on the brink of death, like addicted, like demoralized, pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization, to the point where it's like, yeah, what else? So,
tell me something I don't know.
Tell me something. Yeah, you feel me? Like, yeah, I know.
Be creative. Tell me something I don't know.
Like, I know.
You on a second shot at life, man. Come on, like, motherfucker, you don't owe nobody no explanation of shit.
Right.
I don't give a fuck what the next motherfucker think. If they ain't paying my fucking bills, or like, I'm seeing my kids grow up and shit. I'm getting through fucking problems on my level. They ain't never even seen half the shit that we've seen. You don't really owe nobody no explanation of shit.
Right, but so here's the issue for me though, because like you said, you're like, they're not paying your bills. Now, this is my job.
Yeah.
This is my job. So the public, like, is the customer always right? When is the customer wrong? Where do I draw that line? Where do we make that distinction? Because, and I think that's one of the reasons I got so into leaning into the feedback I was getting. And one, I was fucking dreadfully depressed. But two,
so you were vulnerable.
I was vulnerable, but beyond that, I'm thinking, like, I want to make these people happy because they're the reason why I just got hired at No Jumper for a full and offered a contract, because all these people were fans. If they weren't saying all this good stuff about me, and there wasn't all these comments, sprouting my praise, I wouldn't have been put in the position I was.
Yeah.
So when that started to deviate, I was like, I'm scared that this is going to affect my fucking livelihood. And I think I couldn't really, it's still difficult for me to know when to draw that line. And I have to, unfortunately, just be like, fuck everybody, fuck everything, not like really, but fuck what anyone's saying, and just do me. And if they're gonna fuck with it, they are. If not, oh well. I can't control their narrative regardless.
Exactly. That seems very overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming, bro.
For an addict, we like only instant gratification and shit.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying? If we can't see the end of something, then we crumble under some shit.
Yeah.
And I commend you for making through that bounce back. All about the bounce back. I see you over here flourishing, doing your thing over here. Like, that never even happened.
No, and you know what? Like, that's why I believe in God too, because I feel like I don't know if I would have still been sober if I was there for another 5-6 months. Who knows? I was on a bad path, and I know that although not everything's right now, I feel like, to answer your question earlier, do I feel better? I feel like I'm on a better path, 1,000%. And to further bring it full circle, 360, back to what you already said, hieroglyphics, the accountability to all these people that are looking to me and believe in me and believe in us, we're building together. Sometimes I feel weak internally, like, you know what, maybe I should fucking relapse, and the only thing making me not is all of y'all. I have this weird,
shout out to the Lush world,
shout out everybody,
almost twisted symbiotic relationship with the people, and it's hard for me to.
Well, that's a good perception to have one. As long as you believe that's what it is, that's what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Period.
Some people come into this world and they never change another person's life, nor help influence anybody else. And they just, you come, you're a family man, and then you're gone. You may have influenced your family, but at least you could say that, you've helped people and you've given back. Like, the energy that was given to you to be sober today, And so for you to feel that energy through the microphone and into the cameras and, you know, speakers of the televisions of people watching and phones and tablets, it's a gift that was given to you. And so, you know, everybody has a calling at some point in their life. And in order for you to find change or find what you're looking for in life, you have to go through it to talk about it.
Right.
Because if you don't go through it, how can you tell me about it?
1,000.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear from a artist that's been handed everything his life and has had no struggle, because struggle builds character. Pressure builds diamonds. And this is a platform where you can make deposits on your blessings, shit, because somebody out there need to hear your story, whether they're masking in humor, capping, or bagging it, shit be seeping through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers thinking shit late at night, while they've been in quiet, alone time. Like, damn, he said, you know. So trust me, it's hidden.
And that's why, that's why no matter what we gonna do on this platform, we always gonna talk that real shit. We might have fun, we might turn up, you feel me, be talking about bitches, have bitches, whatever, this or that, hip hop, street shit, whatever, but we always gonna bring it back to the foundation of, you know, just being genuine, mental health, and having these type of really important dialogues, like Pep Love said, you feel me? Tell me this, you prepared to live. Energy that we exchange is imperative. Intricate, so simple. Life is a spirit and the body is a temple. One life, one love.
Oh yeah, one life, one love.
Yeah,
I saw.
Yeah, that shouts to Pep Lover, man. Come
high
on.
roll, the whole high roll.
Yeah, shouts to all those big bros right there.
Yeah.
My voice lady said, Lush, what were you tag banging? Man, y'all know the fuck I'm coming, fool. Still the same OG, man. Don't even play.
That term still is quite funny to me, man.
I am a tag banger. I always have been. You feel me? I don't give a fuck.
Any more phone calls for the night? We're good?
I think, you know what? How many viewers we got right now?
We're over 220.
Damn, we still over. You know what?
Yeah, we're on 3 hour mark.
Okay, all right. I know motherfuckers got to get on with the evenings. We appreciate y'all. We will keep this going. Stro, we need you back. We for sure need you back.
So I'm here, bro. You could check it out, man. Monstro is the MC name. Lush One is the graffiti name. I'm from UTI, RTN, CMA, KWS. You know what I'm saying? JOR, TBU, all my graffiti crews. Crenshaw District. Follow me on Spotify, all streaming platforms for the music. And then you can follow me on the gram, Stro_Oner for the wall work, and you need some commission, need some mural work, digital, whatever. Stay tuned for the album called Manual Labor 2, Monstro, Mr. CR, West Coast Creations. Yeah.
Shouts out 5700. Know that we're forever one family. Come on, man. You know how the fuck I'm coming. Fucking investigation and all that shit. What's up?
Awesome, real shit, man. Like, I'm an artist myself, and this man has an unbelievable talent for murals. If you got a coffee shop or a restaurant or a studio or something and you really need to get some fly ass shit up in there, man, like some iconic paintings, get at my man right here, man. Very talented.
And Rick, a crazy tattoo artist too. Hey, we gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I seen him. He showed me something.
My boy, he a bad man.
Yeah.
He a bad man. With that being said, shouts to Who Bang Ralph Sinatra, bring you the saga.
Shout out Ralph Sinatra.
All the fly ladies out there in Lush World, you feel me? Keep your nails done and your wigs tight. All my player partners, keep on thugging and progressing, you feel me? Shouts to RoyaltyHoneyUSA.com, discount code LushUno, all caps. Shouts to Litco Energy Drink, you feel me?
Rezek, UTI.
Big Rezek, he's gonna come through with some packs.
Well, we need an Oasis, Rick.
Yeah, because
the Oasis.
It'll turn your pool into
an oasis.
With that being said, join the motherfucking Discord and we about this biatch. Biatch, come on.